All right, let's do this thing. W Matt Raiders on the tube. Welcome in, Matt Raiders. All right, let's see here. All right. Let's move that out of the way. Polly and Matt Raid incoming. There we go. Welcome in, guys. Welcome in. Glad you guys are here. We'll rock this thing out. Let's see. Welcome in, guys. How about with that live goal? Tap the screen. Welcome in, guys. Tap that screen. Help out with the live goal, if you would, please. Let's get this thing rolling. Welcome back in. I hope you guys had a good time listening to Polly and I. That was a lot of fun. Why? Welcome in, guys. Tap that screen. Help out with the live goal. Let's knock that thing out. True. Welcome in, guys. Welcome in. Why? Welcome in, Polly and me, Raiders. Check it. We could be friends. Shit. I could do this every week. All right? Is that all right with you? Yeah. Keep banging. Guys, if you voted for Donald Trump, if you still support him, hop in the box. Let's have a conversation. Or you can give us a ring over on the tube. That phone line is open. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with Polly and I. That was a ton of fun. We're going to do it again. And now we're over here. Hi, thanks for calling the stream. Did you vote for Donald Trump?
Yes, sir.
How old are you? What state did you vote in?
48, Massachusetts.
Excuse me. Okay, why do you still support Donald Trump?
I wanted to talk about the gerrymandering thing. You mind talking about that?
Okay. What about it?
What's that noise in the background? It's kind of weird.
I don't hear any noise.
I'm hearing like a ringing noise, and you're echoing on my end.
I don't hear anything. There's nothing.
Okay.
Nothing I can hear.
The first couple seconds of our conversation is actually playing back on the call.
I don't know what to tell you. I don't there shouldn't be happening.
That is super weird.
You can call back if you'd like. Want to call back?
Yeah, I'll call back. Sorry.
Excuse me, guys. Sorry about that. Any better?
Yeah, somebody posted in the chat saying that caller is watching the live and he needs to mute it. So that's definitely what I needed to do. So
there you go.
Wow, that was really dumb. Whew. Yeah. So I wanted to talk about the gerrymandering thing. Is that okay?
Sure.
I'm just curious. I was listening to you and Polly talk about it, and he got quite angry. I'm just curious how you feel about it, because I didn't really hear much from you regarding that.
I also talked about it. You said you wanted to talk about the gerrymandering. What part of it did you want to talk about?
The Supreme Court decision, how it'll kind of impact what's going on in the country, and how gerrymandering, when they passed the law, when they passed the 65 Voting Act, it had to do with testing and stuff like that for minorities. They wanted to get away from that, and they wanted to make it unlawful. So I think at this point, we've kind of gotten, in my opinion, past that point where nobody's getting tested in order to vote anymore.
That's not what this was about. This was about being able to draw districts to give equal representation to people that weren't getting representation.
Yeah, but did you see the Virginia district and how it looked like
This wasn't about Virginia. This was about Louisiana.
Yes. I'm just saying that the way that they've been redistricting and redrawing these maps, it's kind of
Why did they redistrict in Virginia?
To make it quote unquote fair.
Not quote unquote fair. I'm asking you a question. Why did Virginia decide to redistrict its state?
This is what Spanberger herself said. She wanted to make the maps fair because of Texas.
There you go. Because of Texas. Because Texas did it. Exactly. So
Biden
hold on,
blocked.
Bud. Hey, Bud. I don't know why we're not talking about Joe Biden. Stop. Okay? Joe Biden has nothing to do with anything that we're talking about right now. So
he kind of
the word, no, he doesn't. And if the word Joe Biden comes out of your mouth again, I probably will just drop you. You guys are ridiculous with the Biden shit, okay?
It relates to the Texas situation.
Hi, thanks for calling the stream. Did you vote for Donald Trump?
Yes, 3 times.
Okay, how old are you and what state are you in?
I'm in Arizona, and I'm 53 years old.
Sorry about that. Why do you still support Donald Trump?
I mean, I don't see any reason. I have a lot of reasons why. I mean, one, I'm a very religious man. You know, part of my religion tells me that, you know, divine power is put in the hands of divine people, and I have to support my Trump and my president just like I need to support my God, Jesus Christ. So I'm kind of Old Testament, you know, religious. Very biblical.
Uh-huh.
So I support him because God tells me that he put him in this position of divine power and that I should support him based on my religious beliefs. That's the big one. I have a whole bunch of economic reasons as well we can talk about. But, I mean, as far as ideology, my religion points me in a direction, especially my studies of the Old Testament. It tells me I have to support this man.
You have to?
Yes, per my beliefs, my religion.
So, which beliefs would those be that align with Donald Trump?
Well, I mean, when it comes to religious, the Old Testament beliefs, like, you know, God in the Old Testament wields power here on earth. And
you
he
keep
does
saying,
put
just
man...
out of curiosity, man, you keep saying the Old Testament. Are we ignoring the New Testament now?
No, but I just think it's more important that if you study the Bible, we know for sure the Old
hold
Testament...
on. No, time out. I asked you a specific question. Are we ignoring the New Testament?
No, but it's not as relevant.
So you're saying that Jesus Christ isn't as relevant as a Christian to Christianity?
No, you're saying that. Again, it doesn't sound like you really studied the Bible. The Trinity is...
I certainly have, sir, and probably know just about it or more than you do. My question for you is, why are you weighting the Old Testament over the New Testament?
Well, because I feel that the New Testament, again, is highly focused in on Jesus and not the full Trinity. Again, I studied the full Bible.
Jesus Christ came
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me. I'm sorry,
Excuse me, sir. I'm so sorry. I let you talk. I let you talk for quite some time, and
no, you did not, sir. Sorry.
I certainly did. So, anyways, Jesus Christ came, and he had his teachings, many of which overrode things that were in the Old Testament. So, do we have an understanding that the New Testament usurps some things in the Old Testament? Yes or no?
I disagree. There's not exclusionary. The one book does not cancel out the other the way you're trying to make it seem so some reason. Again, can I get out one thing, sir?
What does Matthew 25:31-46 say?
Sir, you're not understanding the Trinity.
What does Matthew 25:31-46 say?
Leviticus 3.
What does Matthew 25:31? I asked you a question, sir.
No.
Are you going to hang up now?
Because
you can't answer it? No, I'm not picking
and
and choosing. I'm asking you a question.
You're picking and choosing,
What is Matthew?
sir.
Then you just did the same thing. What is Matthew
Leviticus
25:30? Hello.
What does this have to do?
Anyways, what is Matthew 25:31-46? If you don't know, just say I don't know, and I can tell you.
It does say that, I believe, something to the effect that divine power is put into men.
Nope.
And
wrong. I thought you knew the Bible. I thought you studied the Bible. I thought you knew about the Bible.
Well, I didn't say I memorized it.
Well, it's literally one of the most. It's literally one of the most. It's literally one of the most important parables in the entire Bible, told to us directly from Jesus Christ Himself, and it is literally the foundation upon which Christianity is built.
I disagree with you. It's in the. That's
How
New
can you
Testament,
disagree
sir.
with me when you don't even know what the verse is, you fucking moron?
Oh, so you're going to relate? I'm a religious man, and you're going to just curse at me, and that's how you win a debate?
No, I'm going to curse at you because you just said that it doesn't relate to Christianity, but you don't even know the verse that I'm talking about.
You're
that
not
makes
a
you
very
fucking
Christian
idiot.
man.
You're right.
Not a very Christian
You're
man.
right, I'm
Cursing
not.
a
Anyways,
stranger.
allow me to explain what Matthew 25:31-46 is for the Christian who pretends that he knows about the Bible. Apparently, I know more than you. It's
Well,
the
Old
parable.
Testament says,
Let me.
the Old Testament
Why don't you
says men
shut
like
the
to get
fuck
struck
up?
down.
Why don't you shut
You
the?
will get struck down.
No, I won't.
You will get struck down
No,
by
I won't.
my God.
Good.
Yes, you are.
Do it right
You
now.
will.
Pray for it right now. Tell him to do it right
It
now.
already happened in your
Pray
life.
for it right
Look
now.
around, sir.
Pray for
Look
it
at
right
your
now.
own life, sir.
Pray for it right now. Pray for
Look
it.
at your own life,
Tell him I
sir.
want
We
it
can
right
tell.
now. Pray for it.
We're going to pray for you,
Pray
sir.
for him to do
We're
it right
gonna pray
now.
for you.
Do it.
We're going to pray for you.
Do it. I'm waiting. I'm
We're
waiting.
praying for you, sir.
We're waiting. Pray for him to strike
all
me
you're
down right
debating,
now.
people.
Where's your God? Oh, cool. He doesn't exist. Anyways, Matthew 25:31-46 is the parable of the sheeps and the goats. What does Jesus say in that parable?
It says that you're a sheep, sir.
Oh, you
and our
don't know.
president is
Oh, you don't
our
know.
president is the
Oh,
goat.
you don't know.
the greatest of all time.
Allow me.
President's the greatest of all time, and you're a sheep, sir.
Allow
and you
me
have
to
resort
read
to
you.
insulting
Allow
people.
me to read you the
You accursed
words.
people,
Allow me to
and you
read
just-
you the words
You
of
have no
Jesus
facts, sir.
Christ Himself.
God is not on your side.
He certainly
God is not on your side.
He certainly is.
God is not on your side,
He
sir.
absolutely fucking is. Anyways,
Perfect.
allow me to
That's
read
pretty
you. Allow me to read you the words of Jesus Christ Himself, not
Your
Donald
mama should
Trump.
wash your mouth out with soap, sir. Your mama should wash your mouth out with soap, sir. You're disrespectful.
Oh, I'm so fucking sorry you're a little fucking snowflake. Anyways, the words of Jesus Christ. When the Son of Man
Don't
comes
cry,
in His
sir.
glory and all the angels with Him, He will sit on His glorious throne. All the nations will
You're
be
a chicken
gathered
off.
before Him, and He will separate the people one from another as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. He'll put the sheep on His right and the goats on His left. The King will say to those on His right, "Come, you are blessed by my Father. Take your inheritance, the kingdom prepared for you since the creation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me, and I needed clothes, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you looked after me. I was in prison, and you came to visit me. Then the righteous will answer him, Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you something to drink? When did we see you a stranger and invite you in, or needing clothes and clothe you? When did we see you sick or in prison and go to visit you? The king will reply, truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me.
This is boring.
Then he'll say to those on the
boring.
left, depart from me, you who are cursed, into the eternal fire prepared for the devil and his angels. For I was hungry, you gave me nothing to eat. I was thirsty, you gave me nothing to drink.
Blah, blah,
I was
blah,
a
blah,
stranger.
blah. Jeez.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Dire-
Are the words of
Diarrhea
Jesus
of the mouth.
Are the words of
Diarrhea of
Jesus
the mouth.
Christ not good enough for you, sir?
Some people like to hear their voices.
I'm so sorry. I'll mute you while I read the words of your Lord and Savior. And then they will answer, Lord, when did we see you hungry or thirsty or a stranger or needing clothes or sick and in prison and did not help you? And he will reply, truly, I tell you, whatever you did not do for one of the least of these, you did not do for me. Then they will go away to eternal punishment, but the righteous to eternal life. Those are the words of Jesus Christ Himself.
I'm glad you can read them off the internet.
And I'm so glad that apparently you, as a Christian, decide not to follow them.
Well, I also voted for Trump for economic reasons, being that I'm an investor, and I'm also in the mining.
Got it. So you
industry,
admit that the
farming.
entire Christianity thing is complete fucking bullshit. Got it. Thank you.
That's
I
both.
appreciate that.
I have multiple reasons. I have multiple reasons to vote for this incredible man.
I'm so glad that you just admitted, when you pivoted away to economics after I just fucking schooled you on your own Bible, that you didn't actually do
All
it
you
for
did is
Christian
read
reasons.
out of a. Dude, all you did is read off the internet for 10 minutes and blocked me and put me on hold so you
I
couldn't talk to
didn't.
me.
You were the one who was interrupting the words
Blah,
of
blah, blah,
Jesus
blah, blah,
Christ.
blah, baby.
Oh,
You're a baby.
I'm a baby? Sir,
Clearly.
stop crashing out.
Listen, I'm into farming as well, and I'm into investing, and I'm happy with the economy. So you want to pivot to that? And
This
lose
guy
this
is
as well?
this guy is in farming, and he's like,
you want to
"Hey,
lose
Donald
on,
Trump,
on that level too?
how much Donald?
You're
How
losing
much?
on the religious level because you're clearly not a religious man.
Hey, bud. How much has Donald Trump already had to bail out the farming industry in a single year? How much money?
I'm in the farmers industry. I'm doing great.
How much has Donald Trump already had to bail out the farming industry in a single fucking year, you fucking dolt?
You don't know anything about farming.
I literally do. Then if I don't know anything about it, then school me. How much has it been? Tell me.
I actually doing really good because I got contracts with
I'm
the
good.
government.
I'm doing good. I'm going to tell this guy that he doesn't know anything, but I'm doing real good. Dude, it's 12.9. It's $12.9 billion that he's had to fucking bail out the farming industry, you moron. Can you imagine? Could you imagine guys being a fucking farmer who voted for Donald Trump? That's like roaches for Raid. That's like chickens for KFC. Holy shit. You're so fucking stupid. It's amazing.
I'm a gator farmer, dude, and I got contracts with the government.
You're
and they are buying all my
gator farmer? What the fuck does that even mean?
I'm making tons of money off of the government, my friend. You got to do some real research. You think you know everything. The gator industry and gator farming is blowing up. Big time, okay? That's the reality. And I have the contracts. We're giving them meat to the immigrants that are in captivity. Hand over fist, man. You can get on at GatorMeat.com.
All right, bud. Whatever you say.
GatorMeat.com. An Old Testament God would go eye for eye on you. You know what I mean? That's just the way it goes. You can't be a baby and be reading all that liberal stuff off the internet. Okay. You know, you can just read liberal Jesus passages and not do Old Testament God that's a real man that can gator farm.
Okay, bud.
And mine. I'm gold mining,
bud.
too.
Okay, bud.
You're getting killing, dude.
Okay, Chief.
You don't know shit. You think you know you don't know shit about mining or gator farming or real investment. We're Old Testament God. Old Testament God would school you.
Yeah.
Sounds you don't have to curse you.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to curse you. He just schools you.
No, for
in
sure.
In life and on your show.
Yeah, absolutely.
In real life also.
No, you're so right. In fact, I think I'd like to convert. Can you help me?
Yeah.
I feel, you know what? I think I want to find Jesus. Help me find Jesus right now.
And gator farming, for sure. GatorMeat.com. Sign up today. There's investment opportunities. Gator Meat Futures, I'm telling you, man, it's like hedge fund. You know, Kashi, you heard of that?
Can I trade on Gator Meat Futures? Is that a thing?
Hell yeah, dude.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
It's like crypto. It's the new crypto, dude. You got to look it up. I mean, I know I'm schooling you on all this. You know, Old Testament God also, by the way. You got to get away from that liberal Jesus God thing. Yeah. Doesn't work.
Yeah. That stupid fucking commie liberal Jesus, right? Fuck that guy.
Yeah, I'm glad we could have this conversation. I got to get going because the gators got to get fed.
Yeah, got to feed the gators.
Yeah, I'm glad you got so mad at me and cursed me out. And then still lost the thing, you know. Because you can't. I assume you can't do the gator meat with me. We could really hook up on this.
Yeah, I do enjoy some good gator jerky. It's good shit.
It's the shit. Well, have a great day. It was nice talking to you.
Oh, boy. Guys, if you voted for Donald Trump, give us a ring. The number is right above my head. It's also pinned in the chat. Appreciate you guys over on the tube. Thank you. Want to say thank you to Betty over on the tube for the $2 super chat. Says, I'm an investor, farmer, astronaut, and a cowgirl. Right? It's like, are you a Barbie? Are you a Barbie doll? That's, you know, it's like, how many different jobs can you have? That's amazing. So, fantastic. Not the gator farmer. Oh, boy. That guy didn't know shit. Guys, once again, if you voted for Donald Trump, hop in the box. Just want to talk to Trump supporters at the moment. So appreciate if you voted for Donald Trump, or give a ring over on the line. Give a ring. I'm running solo tonight. Give a call over on the phone line or hop in the box. Yeah, Ari, for sure. Took me a minute. I mean, the beginning, I was a little convinced. I had my doubts, but I was a little convinced, and then and then we got there. So, yeah. I think it was the gator farming. That was the gator farming that really got me. That was the one. So, anyways, guys, if you voted for Donald Trump, hop in the box. Let's have a conversation. Let's have a chat. It'd be great. It'll be lots of fun. Polly and I have the same energy. We definitely are close. I would say definitely, for sure. Let's see. Right ear is off balance. Oh, huh. That's weird. Thank you, Ari. I appreciate that. So strange. Let's see here. Hopefully that will fix it, Ari. Thank you for letting me know. Appreciate it. I did some adjusting earlier, so. Once again, guys, if you voted for Donald Trump, I'd like you to give a ring over on the Tube or on Twitch, or if you're on TikTok, you can hop on up. Hi, thanks for calling the stream. Did you vote for Donald Trump?
Actually, I didn't get to vote. My schedule kind of got screwed up, and I missed it.
Okay. Are you a Trump supporter?
I'm a commander-in-chief supporter, I guess. As long as bombs ain't falling on my house, I'm pretty happy. I'm 58. I've been happy with all the presidents thus far since I've been alive, except for little Bush Jr., you know. We got hit pretty good there on 9/11. But for the most part, I look at the president as his main job is to keep us safe. Like, you know, I'm sitting here eating ice cream, watching a 50-inch television. My kid, I got 6 children. They're all healthy.
What state are you in?
I'm in Tennessee.
Gotcha. So you think that starting a war with Iran was a great way to keep America safe, huh?
Well, no, absolutely not. You said that. I didn't say that.
Oh, well, I mean, you said that you supported the...
I'm defense. I'm totally defense. What the world does is their business. For a president to go over that, I'm not happy that he did it. I don't think, you know, we should... I'm not an isolationist by no means, but I think we should, you know, we got enough issues here. You know what I'm saying? I think the president should make sure we're not attacked. Now, I will say this, the way the world stage is kind of looking, you know, I'm a little leery of China, Russia, you know, the alliance there of, like, you know, we've had enough of this crap. And, you know, there's a possibility we could get lit up. And then I would say, yeah, that's a failed presidency for sure, because, like I said, I look at the president, his job, for me personally, is the economy, state issues. That's presidents keep us safe. He's the commander-in-chief of our military, our armed forces.
I understand. You said the president's job is to keep us safe, and my point was that starting a war with Iran makes us markedly less safe. And there was no reason to start the war with Iran because there was no imminent threat at all to the United States. So there's not even an argument to do it on a defensive standpoint. So the only thing
I agree. I agree.
Right.
I'm not disagreeing with that.
Right. So using your metric, sir, by what you think a commander-in-chief should do, Donald Trump is failing miserably.
In this particular issue, yeah, he is.
Well, then what other issues do you think he's doing well at?
Well, like I said, outside of us being attacked, we have not been attacked.
Our military bases have been attacked all over the Middle East, and 13 service members have died, and hundreds of service members have had casualties. You might want to tell those families that we haven't been attacked. Maybe you should go tell the parents of those kids
bases,
that died.
Those bases were there before Donald Trump.
Sir,
I
and guess what? And guess what?
overseas.
Guess what, sir? Those bases weren't attacked until Donald Trump decided to unilaterally go and bomb Iran for no reason. Those people didn't have to die.
Listen, I thought Donald Trump, I was hopeful when he got in there that we would bring every Tom, Dick, and Harry soldier out of all these bases worldwide and bring them home. I don't see why. I served 3 years over in the Fulda Gap. I served 3 different tours in the military. I had a hard time living in Germany for 3 years and going, you guys are getting taxpayer money to have free health care and limit the expenses that you have to protect yourselves because we're doing it. Now that was Ronald Reagan. And the only thing I could say good about the Ronald Reagan was if I had to be in Germany, he made sure the military was well supplied and well stocked and well funded. But after living there for 3 years, I was like, hell no, I don't want Americans anywhere. I mean, I want them all home,
sir.
Period.
So, again, Donald Trump isn't doing anything good in that regard. That's why I'm asking you, what is he doing?
I'm not disagreeing with your statement.
Okay, well then if
you
you don't disagree with my statement, then if we're both in agreement on that point, then why do you still support him? He's not doing a good job at the thing that you just stated was the commander-in-chief's job. You said, to start this off, you're like, I think the commander-in-chief's job is to keep us safe. And I just pointed out to you that he is not keeping us safe, that by starting this war, he is doing everything but that. He is endangering American lives on the regular, and not just our soldiers over there. Down the road, this creates more terrorism issues. This creates a ton of other issues as we move forward in the world and in the Middle East that didn't need to exist. So my question again is, if he's not doing the main thing that you said was important to you, what is he doing that is good that you support?
That I agree with you. I agree. He's not doing a good job with that. I like I said, I thought he made comments that he was going to be kind of more of an isolationist, and he's kind of flipped completely, and I'm kind of shocked by that. But, presidents previous to him have dropped bombs all over the place as well. Obama dropped a lot of bombs. Bush dropped a lot of bombs. Now, Bush kind of had a reason, maybe, but Saudi Arabians were kind of the ones that hit us, and yet Saudi Arabia.
I'm not happy with the amount of drone strikes that Barack Obama did. I think he did way too many.
Yeah, I mean, like
sir, I wasn't done with my sentence. But
that's okay. I'm sorry.
Barack Obama in 8 years, in Donald Trump's 4 years of being president, did more in his first term, did more than Barack Obama when there wasn't a war going on, and then he decided to stop reporting that information to the American public, whereas at least we used to have that information reported publicly so we knew how many drone strikes the U.S. government was doing, and the Trump administration decided to tell us to fuck off because we don't need to know that information, apparently. And now he's started a war. Donald Trump didn't just I kind of flip-flop. He lied to your face. He said multiple times, I'm the president of peace. I won't start a war with Iran. Kamala Harris is going to start a war with Iran. She's going to start a draft. She's going to start World War III. She's going to send your kids, blah, 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 blah. He said that over and over and over again. J.D. Vance said it. Stephen Miller said it. Tulsi Gabbard said it on the campaign trail for them. I can play you clip after clip after clip. And they just lied.
Yeah, I'm not disputing that. You're 100% correct. I'm very I'm not happy about any of that.
So again, why are you still supporting Donald Trump?
Well, I have to try to support the president of the United States. I mean, somebody's got to get in his ear and say, "Hey, let's back this up." I mean, there's got to be a solution. Me complaining and whining. I mean, somebody. If we tell people, got to tell the Congress, the Senate, nobody's like stepping up to this guy.
Yeah, you know why? It's because I'll tell you exactly why. It's because because the Republican Party that you vote for and the people that you put into office, they look at Donald Trump as a fucking cult leader. They look at Donald Trump as the guy who can do no wrong, and they won't stand up to him and do what's right, which is they need to remove him from office. That's the thing that needs to happen, or they need to, at the very least, limit his power. Congress could step up to the plate right now, and they could go,
right.
Absolutely not. We're a Congress, and we have the power to wage war under Article 3, and fuck you, and we're doing under Article 1, excuse me, and we're doing this, and fuck you. This is what's happening, but they won't, because the Republicans will not stand up to Donald Trump. This is unprecedented times in American history. The Founding Fathers never thought that we would be in a situation like this. In 1970s, what happened with Richard Nixon? Why did Richard Nixon resign before he could be impeached? Why did that happen?
Well, he knew his ass was cooked.
He knew his ass was cooked because the other Republicans in Congress were like, you're fucked. Get out of here. Yeah, they told him. They were like,
yeah, he saved face. That was it.
They were like, you're done. We at least had Republicans who were like, okay, you fucked up. Get the fuck out of here. Now, they're just like,
Yeah, I'm not a Republican. I've never been a Republican, or I've always been an independent. I'm a candidate type of guy. Like I said, I didn't vote in this election. But I really wasn't, I look at Trump as a mafia guy. He's a casino man. Now, he might be good for business. I would much rather have had a military representative as my commander-in-chief. Now, I did serve. So if you're not military, you probably don't have those same thoughts. And I understand that totally. My father was Vietnam. My grandfather was World War II. We all served. Well, I volunteered. My father had no choice. He flunked out of college and got drafted. So stay in school, kids. But I out of the people that ran between the Democrats and the Republicans, quite frankly, I wasn't impressed with either or. Now, if Kamala would have gotten in there, per se, I would have supported her to listen. I'm here in Tennessee. I'm enjoying. I'm 58 years old. I have never had bombs. I never had to get in a bomb shelter since I've been an American. And I would like my president, whoever side, I hope that they continue to make that so. Like I said, I've got 6 children. I don't know how many kids you got. You got any children?
Yeah, I have a daughter.
Yeah, we don't want her to, you don't want to look at you and, like there are things that are happening in Ukraine and Iran. I don't want any of that to happen here. And
that was why I voted. That was why I voted for the person who was intelligent and had actual foreign policy experience and was not going to start a war with Iran and lead us to the point where we were going to create terrorist cells that didn't exist before but will now exist with the express intention of getting back at America for what they just did in the last month and a half.
Oh, I think we got more to worry about than terrorists. So I'm very leery of China and Russia. Just maybe a little China there, North Korea, of actually lighting us up.
That's not going to happen because that's mutually assured destruction. You have nothing to worry about with that, and also China's.
Is that right?
No,
that's your gut feeling. Honestly,
it's not my gut, sir. It's not my gut feeling. I have 60 years Cold War to back up that. If Russia and the United States never came to blows, China and the United States are not going to come to blows. Mutually assured destruction is a thing, and none of these leaders want to actually go and use nuclear weapons. Also, the United States and China's economies are so intertwined that even if China wanted to do that, which would be monumentally stupid, and again, mutually assured destruction, but even if they could somehow avoid mutually assured destruction, they would blow a hole in their economy to the tune of nearly 20%. It would not make any. It wouldn't make any sense. Like, there's no situation where it makes any sense for China to do that, and Russia can't do it because Russia barely can hang on.
Barely hanging on.
And I mean, right now they're getting their ass kicked back in Ukraine. Yeah. They're getting pushed back in Ukraine. A lot of people don't know that. So, quite frankly, sir, I have to tell you that that idea is absurd. That's why I voted for the person who had actual intelligence and actual foreign policy experience and promised not to do this and didn't do this and understands how these things work and wasn't going to fall prey to Bibi Netanyahu's bullshit talking points and lies.
Oh yeah, now that is Israel needs to take care of their own business. I don't know why we're beholden to Israel. I mean, that one baffles me. But that's been a situation for what, 60+ years. I don't know when the Israelis started pulling strings in our government. But
sir, it's the bottom line is that Ronald Reagan, George H.W. Bush, Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, Barack Obama, Donald Trump in his first term when he had competent military leaders alongside of him, and Joe Biden, none of them went to war with Iran. There is a reason for that. And the reason for that is they were never an imminent threat to the United States. That's number one. And number two, all of those presidents knew that the economic consequences would be dire. And we're experiencing them right now.
I agree. I would not have touched Iran. I really don't care what Iran does. Like I said, as long as the bombs ain't hitting here in Tennessee, y'all do what you want to do. But I have to still support the man. Hopefully somebody gets in his ear, and what do we just all right, we're just screwed until he's kicked out?
You could you could do is you could say, hey, I don't support this. I don't support this person anymore. You can call your senator. You can call your representative and say, do something. That's what you could do.
Yeah, I have. I called both of my locals here and mentioned the fact that, I'm defense. I'm Jack Lambert, Pittsburgh Steelers. If you don't cross the American border, you're good. That's my personal opinion. But like I said, I just, so far, except for George Little Bush, we got the 9/11 smacking. And even then, he ran after, I don't know, why is he going over there? I mean, who were the people out of 12 of the 15 were Saudis, and we didn't even mess with Saudis. So, they blamed it all on Osama, but like I said, I'm with you. I did not get to vote in this election. I am an independent, always have, but you can check my history, my record. I've never liked the Republicans because Democrats, I could say, at least stick together. Now, some of their issues here lately have gotten a little wacky for me personally. I'm an old school guy. I see things pretty much black and white, and they try to go a little more gray in some certain areas. Republicans will leave you out to dry. They'll say one thing and then do completely the opposite. And then if they all do agree with something, they ended up, they won't even support each other, So it's like, I've never been a big political person. I've been a proud member of the military. I believe in supporting our military. And and I like all Americans to be prosperous. I've lived a good life. I'm getting towards the end, on the road.
How old are your kids?
I'm 58.
How old are your kids, sir?
Oh, I was a daddy late because I didn't get caught till later in life. My oldest is 20, and my youngest is 7.
Okay. Well, it's good that you've had it. You've had it good. You're part of a generation that still had a lot of benefits.
Well, Gen X, I'm an Xer. Yeah, we got our asses beat, and you had to get up and go to work. You can't give me no bullshit excuse.
Sir. I'm not talking about that. It has nothing to do with work ethic. What I'm talking about is the fact that you lived at a time when the economy worked in a different way than it works now. And
absolutely.
What I'm talking about. And I'm not saying that you didn't have a good work ethic. That's not what I'm saying. I'm sure you did. But what I'm saying is that work ethic or not, there was an advantage to then. I know my parents are in their late 60s, and I mean when they bought their first house, there was no such thing as credit scores. Okay,
right,
so I mean we lived in different times. I mean when I was alive, I was alive at a time where there still weren't credit scores. The first 6 years of my life, credit scores in earnest did not exist for doing things like buying houses and whatnot. So what I'm saying is that the economy has changed. Things have changed. And for your kids, my main overarching point is for your kids, if you want things to be better and you're like, hey, I've had it good, that's fine. That's great. But if you want things to be better for them, you need to start thinking about who you're really voting for. And that answer isn't just, well, if the bombs aren't falling, I'm fine. You need to think about more long-term type stuff and like how are we...
Well, I believe that's more of your state
it's
representative.
Not. There is some
because
of that.
If you look at the economy here in Tennessee, quite frankly, it's incredible. Now, if you look at some of the other states, I've lived all over, literally pretty much all over the world, quite frankly. And yes, Tennessee was the last place that I landed. I've been here 10 years. And quite frankly, the economy here is doing wonderful. But I think it's the local leaders at your local area that you have to pick and choose those guys that have your interest in mind.
Job growth has slowed in Tennessee in the last year, and unemployment went up from 3.4 to 3.6%.
Well, the only reason it's grown is because we got such a huge migration coming in, and the job market has gotten a little tighter because now there's a little, like I used to live in Northeast Ohio, and now in the 80s, if you wanted a job...
Sir, you're saying that in 2025 that happened?
Well, I'm just saying that, yeah, since I live in a neighborhood that I socialize with all my neighbors.
Sir, I'm sorry. Listen, that's fine, but anecdote, we can't go with anecdotes. And
I have to go with how my life is.
That's what we call anecdotes. I could tell you about my life in front of me, and then if those two things contradict each other, we're at an impasse. That's why we have to use third-party data and the numbers that are real. That like I could give you a story, you can give me a story, and we both see different things. That's why those things don't really matter. The things that matter are the numbers.
I watched the news this evening, and I know our unemployment is very low. It was under 4%.
Yes, it's not high. I'm not saying that it's high, but you just said, I'm pointing out to you, though, that your economy is going in the wrong direction. Things are cooling. Unemployment is going up. That's a problem. Your job growth has slowed, and your economic growth has also slowed. Your GDP isn't growing at the same rate that it was in the previous 3 years. That's not good.
And I guess I haven't felt any of the impact. Let's put it that way.
That's great. I'm so glad that you haven't felt the impact of it. I definitely
I'm-
have with the
I
business.
mean, I'm not coming across bright. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. I'm not saying that what you're saying is not untrue. I'm just saying the way I don't know how to put it without. I guess that offended you, but I didn't mean
No,
for it to.
it's not. I'm not.
To,
I'm not offended at all. I'm just pointing out. I'm just pointing out to you that like it's great. I think it's great that if you're not affected, that's wonderful. But you can't. Listen, if you want to look at things in America and have blinders on and just go, well, I think that everything for me is okay, and just because everything I see is okay, then everything is okay. I don't think that's...
I don't have blinders. My previous state, Ohio, is getting hammered. My family's still in Ohio, at least half of them. And they're like I said, it's more state to state. Like I said, for Tennessee, my brother makes. Well, I'm retired, but you know, we made the same salary, but he struggled 10 times harder in the state of Ohio than we did here in Tennessee. He has a large family as well, and you know. He's broke half the time because Ohio is just really bad. I mean, Ohio's got hammered, and I don't know why. I just didn't like the snow no more, and that was I married a Florida girl, so I thought, well, let's split it, you know.
What I'm trying to.
So I don't have blinders on
Okay.
because I hear firsthand struggles from family members that's in the state of Ohio.
Right.
So I'm not blinded.
Well, what I'm saying is that
there are issues.
What I'm saying is that across the country, our economy is in bad shape. The indicators are bad. Like we're pushing into recession territory now. Things are not going well. The only thing propping up our economy at the moment is AI, and people are likening that to the bubble. You're old enough and I'm old enough to remember what happened in the early 2000s with the .com bubble. You remember that?
Oh, absolutely.
They're likening the AI boom to that, and they're saying that there is absolutely a very high percentage chance that the bottom is going to fall out in the same way. It's the only thing that at the moment is the investment in AI is keeping our GDP afloat. And like if we don't have that, we're in trouble. Inflation is on its way back up. Gas prices are on its way back up because of the war in Iran, because oil prices, the price of a barrel of oil is going back up. Diesel prices are going back up. You know, because I assume that you understand that if diesel prices are going up, gas prices are going up, the cost of everything keeps going up more. It was already going up, and now it's going to go up more. And so everything is getting more expensive. There is no help for that. Things are only getting worse. The Republicans aren't doing anything to fix any of these problems for us.
Which is, you know, they and it's kind of interesting that the Republicans were always supposedly the more business savvy of the parties, and so I'm kind of dumbfounded. Like I said, I'm not a fan of either party, quite honest. I think we should have like 6 or 7 parties for representation because a lot of those two parties kind of, to me, blend together a lot. But what do you think is the solution, though? I mean, you don't think we've had any financial struggles if a Democratic president would have been in there? I mean, after the last Democratic president.
The last Democratic president did one of the most amazing jobs with our economy that any president has ever done.
And what was the one example of that you felt that was the? I mean, we had a lot of we gave away a lot of government money.
So did Donald Trump. What was the inflation rate in January of 2025 when Joe Biden left office?
I would lie. I would be making it up.
It was right around 3%.
Hey, nice talking to you, by the way. Anyway, you seem like a pretty decent guy.
I try. You also
okay.
Do my
I've watched
best.
you a few. I've watched a few videos. Maybe it's just some of the people that call and get under your skin, but That last guy was. He said he was what 53. Yeah, it was kind of
That last
embarrassment
guy
for
was
the
that last
50-year-old.
guy was that last guy was trolling. That last guy was trolling.
Is that what? Yeah, the trolling. I don't even know
Yes,
what
the
that
person
means.
was trolling.
Actually,
It means that they weren't serious.
is
January
that
of
right?
January of 2025. Yeah, he wasn't serious. January of 2025 was 3%. We were at 3% inflation, sir.
What are we at now?
Right now, in March of
Yeah,
2026, we're at 3.3%, and we don't even know if that number is correct because we're missing data from 2 months from the BLS because during the government shutdown, the Trump administration decided for the first time in our history of recording CPI data, the Consumer Price Index, that they were just not going to record that data. And they said, well, the government shut down, so we're not going to record the data, which never happens, even when the government is shut down. There's no government shutdown that has stopped the Bureau of Labor and Statistics from going out and collecting Consumer Price Index information. And they did, which gave them even more favorable inflation numbers, but it's still gone up. Inflation is going back up. We are in a precarious position. Joe Biden took us all the way from 9% down to 3%. He gave us the best recovery from COVID-19 of any country in the G8. So us compared to the rest of the G8 countries, the major economic countries that in the G8, we had the best economic recovery. We were the envy of those countries. In fact, the Wall Street Journal said those exact words in December of 2024, that the United States was the envy of the rest of the world when it came to our economic recovery. Not only did we get back all of the 8 million jobs that were lost, but Joe Biden gave us 8 million more jobs on top of that.
So let me ask it. I guess it's maybe a dumb question. So why did Trump win overwhelmingly in this election?
He didn't win overwhelmingly. That's a
Is that a lie? Okay,
Sure,
I'm just going
yeah.
by what the news
Here.
throws out of the TV. So.
Well, I mean, I don't know what news you're watching. But here
Well, I'm the old three channels: ABC, CBS, NBC.
Okay, well that's good. I mean, if you want to watch the top three, but if you look at the presidential election, Donald Trump. If you want to talk about,
I mean, I just don't understand why people, a country that is, I'm doing the same with. I've been pretty much the same all the way back since Bill Clinton financially. I mean, truthfully, I've not. COVID came and went, and my personal family wasn't affected one way or the other, just because of what I'm into, my business. It was, I guess, it's kind of recession proof. It's kind of it was COVID proof. But as far as and I'm not, I don't want to sound like look at me. I'm just it's thank God. I mean, I guess I'm lucky maybe, but.
That's lucky. That's
good. I just
good.
don't understand why if the economy, now you know the economy, you study these numbers. I don't.
I can tell you exactly why all this happened. But the first thing I want to point out to you is that in the popular vote, okay, Donald Trump got 49.8%, Kamala Harris got 48.3%. That is a difference of 1.5%. And I want to point something out. I understand that the electoral win looks big because he got 312 electoral votes and she got 226. But I'd like to point something out to you. Roughly 200,000 votes spread across some of the swing states, 200,000 votes would have tilted the election in Kamala Harris's favor. So
why wouldn't it have been a landslide for Kamala Harris? That's why. Why would the American people go?
And I can tell you,
we're doing so great. Like I said, I don't understand why the big shift. Was it just
the writing was on the wall? It was baked in, and we saw it happening with elections. We saw it happening with elections prior to Donald Trump. And the thing that was happening around the rest of the world, the thing that we saw happen in Europe and in other countries, is that there was a shift to the right happening, and because of the economic downturn in COVID-19, people weren't looking at the
Oh,
at the
so you say
recovery.
COVID. Oh, okay,
What
gotcha.
the only thing they looked at, was just like, wow, that was bad. Bad. I think bad, because people, unfortunately, are not the best at sitting there and going, okay, now wait a second, hold on. Number one, it started under Donald Trump and he mishandled it terribly. That's number one. But then number two is that Biden inherited the mess and then took the mess. And yeah, it got bad under Biden, but that's because he had a mess that he had to take care of, and then he fixed the whole thing so that by the time...
So why would we flip? That's so crazy that the country would just flip on itself.
I agree with you 100%, which is why it's very frustrating when I talk to people who want to tell me that Joe Biden was bad for the economy or Donald Trump did such great things, or etc., because the reality of the situation is everything really and truly that happened. Oh, hey, Erika, hey, friend. Everything that happened with Biden during his term, okay, for the most part, he inherited a terrible situation. He dealt with it as best he could. He spent half as much money as Donald Trump did towards the debt. So he cut deficit spending while he did. He drilled more oil in 4 years than any other president has. He passed major legislation, including the PACT Act, by the way, if you're a vet, which is one of the most comprehensive overhauls to the VA that we've seen in 60 years, and included and expanded coverage for millions of veterans, okay? Millions of veterans, which is amazing. The CHIPS and Science Act, which brought manufacturing, high-level manufacturing, back to America to make sure that we're less reliant on Taiwan, on China, on all of those places, and gave major incentives to have industries come here, and it worked. Billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars pouring back into the United States for us. Plus, you had the American Rescue Plan. Plus, you had the Infrastructure Act, which, if you've seen roads getting fixed in Tennessee or bridges getting fixed in Tennessee, all those different things, that's not
they're quite nice.
That's not your state. That's federal money that's pouring into Tennessee from the Joe Biden Infrastructure Act, my friend. That's where that money comes from.
So what do you think on the midterms? You think it's going to flip then?
I think that what's going to happen is that the House is absolutely going to flip. And I think that there is a chance that the Senate could. That's how badly things are going right now for the Republicans and for President Trump.
Now, do you think – now, all right, so the presidential we got to look future, I guess. Who do you think is the front runner after Trump?
For the Republicans?
Well, but either side. Like I said, I'm either one. I've never been a Republican or a Democrat. Do you have any insight?
No, I won't speculate. I won't speculate yet on the Democrats. I've said not until I get past the midterms. I won't speculate.
Now, what if the midterms don't flip? What would your thought be if that happens? The Republicans maintain control.
Then my thought would be that the system
is insane.
No. Then my thought would be that the system, that they've done something to rig the elections, and I've never said that before in my entire life. But
is that right?
Given the solidly red districts that have flipped since the 2024 election, the elections are going in the insane other direction. We're talking about districts that were plus Trump by double-digit numbers that are flipping back the other way, or even districts that are double-digit plus Trump but are still but are competitive. Even that, the idea that you could have a competitive district there is insane. It's absolutely insane. So the Democrats have almost run the board on special elections up until now. So if you're going to tell me that all of a sudden, all of these people who've changed their minds are suddenly not going to change their minds come the midterms.
It's kind of a trend. It is kind of a trend. You know, the incumbent always flips, it seems, midterms, either side.
It's pretty much a given. Now, the only time that we've seen something that was mitigated was in 2022. And even though the Republicans took back the House, they did so at a very, very small scale. And that
it was very small. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're correct. Yeah.
yeah.
Now, I'm curious to see Tennessee because here in the state, with President Trump's election, there was literally only 3 counties that voted Democrat in the state of Tennessee. So I'm anxious. I watched the, they light up the state red or blue.
Yeah.
And when they had the Tennessee was red, and it was Shelby County, Nashville, and Haywood County, a little small. That was it that Democrats pulled off. It was just 3 counties in the whole. I wasn't born and raised here, but like I said, this was kind of a neutral weather for me. That's why, kind of why I came down here. So I didn't have any political affiliate, coming into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got down here and I went, holy crap. And as far as the Senate and the state here, I mean, Democrats are like, I don't know, 4 or 5 in the Senate, and in the House, there's like 20. I watch PBS. They play, I watch it, see what laws they're making. I wish they'd stop making new laws and maybe wipe some off the books. But that's what they do every time they get together. They're making a new law. So, but I would be frustrated to be a Democrat in Tennessee because they get overwhelmingly overvoted, and they fight. They stand up and they jump up and down, but when the vote comes, it's like, yeah, you're so far outnumbered in this state. So I am curious, midterms, just to see a state that's way to the red, to see if there's any more blue that show up.
Well, I mean,
because right now,
think
I'm curious.
We're already seeing it.
Is that right? Okay.
I think we're already seeing it. Okay, I mean,
now,
that's
do you have any interest in other parties besides a Democrat and a Republican, or you like the 2-party system?
I don't like the 2-party system. I wish.
Okay,
that
good. Me neither, man. Yeah, I'm embarrassed for both parties actually.
But hold on. I don't like the 2-party system, but there is a clear delineation these days between the Republicans and the Democrats.
Oh, yeah, you're right about that. Yeah, you're right about that.
And the Democratic Party is far and away the better political party. I'm not saying that they're equal. I'm saying I don't like the 2-party system. I would prefer that there was a political party that was further to the left of the Democratic Party. I'm progressive, and I would prefer that we focus on more issues that moved us forward as a society instead of held us back.
Yeah, my father was a diehard Democrat, and my grandfather was a diehard Democrat. And they both, were very upset with me when I didn't like either one. Quite frankly, I wouldn't hang out with neither one of these groups if it was me. If I had to choose friends.
I understand, but there are a lot more of them.
Now, are you a lifelong Democrat?
No.
Okay, cool. All right. I didn't know. Some people are,
but
like I got down here to Tennessee, and I was talking to a gentleman in a little store, little country store, and he's like, "Where you come from, boy?" And I was like, "I'm from Northeast Ohio." And he said, "Yeah, I could tell with that accent." And he says, "Are you one of them Republicans?" And I said, "No." Now, this was a black gentleman, not that I care, but he was black. And he said, "Oh, now that you're down here, you got to vote Democrat." And I said, "Well, to be honest, all the Democrats I knew from Ohio were KKK members, quite frankly, and I'm definitely not down with that." And he looked at me like, "What?" And I'm like, "Seriously, where I'm from in Ohio, the Democrats do not like black people." So I've always been baffled since I was a young man of why the black community would vote for the Democrats.
Sir, that hasn't been true for more than 90 years.
Oh, it's true.
No, it's not.
I'm not going to give out phone numbers of my people. Oh,
sir,
yeah,
that's a lie.
No,
it's
why
a
would
lie.
I lie?
Because
I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah, that's a lie.
No, it is not. I got people.
Sir, why would
Now he called.
Sir,
now here's what the guy
sir,
said.
No,
Here's what
listen,
the guy
sir,
said. Those are called
I want to ask you a
Dixiecrats.
question. Sir, I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
Why would anyone in the last 50 years, 60 years, if they were a Klan member, why would they vote for the party that championed civil rights and then gay rights?
Mental illness, man. You got to be something wrong with you to be a Klan.
So it's almost like what you're saying. It's almost like what you're saying makes absolutely zero fucking sense.
Exactly.
Exactly,
That was
which is why no one ever in the Klan in the history of ever since the party switch has endorsed a Democrat. Ever.
That's not true, though.
It is true.
Personally, no,
it is
it's
true,
not.
sir. I want you to show me a Klan member, sir. Show me a single Klan member that you can prove to me has endorsed a Democrat.
That would be giving you off the air. I'd have to give you phone numbers
Sir,
of some cousins.
No, you would no. No.
Well, why? Why is that? Why would that be a lie? If I personally know guys that don't like black people, affiliate with the KKK, and are Democrats.
Why would they vote Democrat? Why would they vote Democrat?
Don't ask me. I've never voted Democrat or Republican.
Sir,
I don't
I'm asking you why it would make sense.
Them. I can't answer.
Well, you're the one
them.
making the claim, and I'm telling you, I'm trying to get you to understand that what you're saying doesn't make any sense.
It may not make sense. I'm not saying it does make any sense, but I'm saying factually, I know people that are Democrats.
No, you don't.
Oh, well, how? Okay.
You don't.
I'm not lying. I don't make stuff up.
Yes, you are.
No.
Okay, well then guess
not.
what? I'll tell you what. There's one of two things happening here, sir. Number
Okay.
one is you misunderstood what they were saying to you, or number two is they're just lying to you because those people aren't going to vote for the rights of the people that they're trying to hang from a tree.
This guy down here in the store clerk, he said, those are Dixiecrats. Those don't exist no more.
Yeah, they don't exist anymore. Exactly. They haven't existed for over 60 years.
And I'm like, well, that may be true down here in this neighborhood, but yeah, they do exist. They do exist.
Sir, Dixiecrats literally stopped existing 60 years ago.
I get the whole, but that's what he called them. But like I said I would never be a Democrat because the people I know that are Democrats, their ideology. So I don't know. Like I said, I've never been a member of either. I've never liked Democrat or Republican. I'm definitely damn sure in the middle. If I would rather have a third or fourth or maybe a fifth party to find more my alignment. But that I'm not lying. That I've got cousins. My grandfather, unfortunately, I hate to say it, but he was a proud Grand Wizard. And
see, your grandfather makes a lot more sense because guess what? Based on your age, that's before the party switch. That makes a lot more sense.
I came home from Germany in 1986, and I'd been gone for 3 years. And I hit my hometown and hit my people. And like I said, I went in young. I went in the Army at 17. And I got home, and man, it was all, I missed out, I guess. It was all politics. And of course, some of my people and some of the people in my town come up and hand me that old, you got to come down to the office here and hang out in some of our meetings. And I'm like, no, screw that, And it come time for voting, and they were all voting Democrat. And I'm like, that is the most bizarre thing ever, how you guys are members of the Ku Klux Klan and voting for Democrat.
Sir, if they were still doing it in the 80s, the only hold on. If they were still doing it 40 years ago, by the way, 40 years ago, if that was still a thing 40 years ago.
Going by fast, isn't it?
So we're talking about 40 years ago, if that was still a thing in, where were you talking about, Ohio?
Yeah, Northeast Ohio.
Okay, great. I can tell you exactly why you probably still had some people that voted Democrat there. You know why? Unions.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. That's okay.
That's
I
it.
get that.
That's the only reason. That's the only reason why, is because the Democrats absolutely had a chokehold and championed the unions there. And back then,
True,
if your
true.
union
my father
boss
was a union. Yeah,
if
my
your
dad was
union
a
boss-
Democrat.
yeah.
Union. Yeah,
if your union
got
boss told you to vote for somebody, you voted for them.
Well, you know what? That 100% makes that's a good. Thank you. Yeah, I couldn't figure it out. I know. My dad was a card carrying union man. Democrat. You know.
This makes a lot. That makes a lot more sense. So yes, 40 years ago, in the Rust Belt, yes, I could still see someone voting for union stuff because they were Democrat.
Got it.
Not now.
But I wasn't lying to you. I'm not trying to lie to you.
I understand, but we need a clarification on that because
okay. Well, I'm glad you were able to clear it up
I'm telling you right now, there is no one who participates with the Klan right now who's walking into that booth who votes for a Democrat. It does not happen anymore.
They had some flyers that got pushed around here in Memphis not too long ago. People had them on their cars. So I know they're still around, but as far as who they're voting for, that I couldn't tell you. Yeah. But, yeah.
Well, I can tell you
because...
man,
good talk, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. By the way, I could tell you because David Duke endorsed Donald Trump. So, just FYI. But, but anyways, look, I appreciate you. I appreciate you calling. I will tell you one thing. If you want more options and more political parties, the way to do that is by getting ranked choice voting to be a thing. Because ranked choice voting actually allows for, even if it's not a third-party candidate, a candidate that's not, say, part of the mainstream. A candidate that could come out and not be supported by one of the major parties. That's how ranked choice voting works. We're starting to see more candidates like that. Is that
right? Because they say it's so rigged and independent, he doesn't have enough backers,
The last thing I'll tell you is you may not be familiar with the Senate race in the state of Maine, but I am.
No.
Because I live in Massachusetts and I spend a good portion of my summer.
Oh, you Mass guy? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I had a good Army dog roommate. Yeah, all right.
But Graham Plattner, who is a progressive, further to the left than a normal Democrat, came out of nowhere. Janet Mills, who is the two-time governor of Maine and backed by the DNC, she just dropped out of the race today.
I did see that. I read that in the news feed today.
She dropped out of the race today because she
didn't. So supposedly there's a real progressive person that's in the lead now, right?
Yeah, that's Plattner, and so
Plattner. Okay, gotcha.
And so, but here's my point: ranked choice voting, okay, is the way to get other candidates through. The people
definition of ranked choice voting. Break that down for me.
The people. I encourage you to look into it and look into how it works.
I'll look it up when I get off it.
Because it allows for not just A or B. That it allows for other options to filter through. And so now what we have is a candidate that wasn't backed by the DNC that's going to go up against Susan Collins in the general election in 2026. Almost certainly. Yeah, I do too. Yeah. So the bottom line is that you should look into that. And I'll tell you, the people that are pushing ranked choice voting and that want us to move in that direction are progressives. And we should be moving more in that direction, because if you want more of a voice and you want more political options, I do too. And that's the way that we should go. So I encourage you to read up on ranked choice voting. That should be a thing that you should be championing if you want more political voices.
Yeah, I just like to vote for the right person.
Yeah.
That has America's interest first. Period. That's it. Take care of Americans. If there's people out sleeping on the streets, get them out of the streets. If there's drug addicts, get them help. Don't step over them. You know, I just don't get billions and billions of dollars is going here and there and there, and you see these people, and it's just like, how is this possible in like the most wealthiest country in the world? And I'm not mad at billionaires. I mean, I would like to be a billionaire, probably, as would you. I don't want somebody to tell me that, no, we got to limit your earning potential.
No one's limiting anyone's earning potential.
Yeah,
That's not how it works.
I don't know much about progressivism, I guess, like I said, I've never been a political. I'm pretty much just a good guy that, you know, wants my neighbors to be healthy. I want me to be healthy. I love everybody. You know, I like to see us all get along.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you. I appreciate you calling in. And we've talked for almost an hour, so I'm going to try to move on to someone else.
Oh, is that right? All right. Yeah. Good talking to you, and good luck. Continue on.
Okay. You have a good night.
You too.
All right. Bye. Thank you to Joel over on the tube. Thank you, Joel. Joel says, fun fact, you don't have to support the president. That's literally not how a free democracy works. Go to North Korea if you want a god king. Thank you, Joel. I appreciate that, and you are correct. Caller, if you're listening, take that one to heart, please. Also, want to say thank you to Janet. Janet on the Blue app. Janet says, investing in, quote, Gator futures. Who is this guy? Randolph and or Mortimer Duke? Fantastic reference, by the way. I appreciate that very much, Janet. Thank you. Thank you so much. Janet also said, P.S. You're awesome. Thank you, Janet. I appreciate you, friend. Thank you. It's very kind of you. I always appreciate a good Trading Places reference. That shit is awesome. Guys, a couple of quick housekeeping notes. Oh, hold on 1 second. Thank you for following the stream. Did you vote for Donald Trump?
Yes.
Okay. Can I put you on a brief hold, please?
Absolutely, sir.
Thank you. Guys, a couple of quick housekeeping notes before we move on to our next Trump supporter. Number one is please make sure you're subscribed to me over on the tube. I would appreciate that. Please make sure you are following. This is my backup account, so if you're following me here, that's great if you're just finding me, but please make sure you click through, follow my main account, okay? You can find a link right there in the bio. Also, if you want to offer additional support, like some people have been doing via the blue app, the green app, the PP, all of those, you can find links in my bio over here on TikTok, or on the tube, you can find links right there in the description. Also, over on the Twitchy app, I believe we can do the gifts and the things now and all that kind of stuff. So I appreciate you guys if that's what you want to do. Someone had pointed out to me that was a thing we should allow. So thank you guys for doing it. Nemo will be back soon. He had some other stuff to take care of tonight. So that's fine. Everything's fine. He just had some other stuff to do. Okay? So all good. Let's talk to our next Trump supporter. Thank you for holding. Can you tell me how old you are and what state you're in, please?
Sure. I'm from Louisiana, and I am 47.
Okay. Why do you still support Donald Trump?
So there are some policies I don't particularly care for, but one of the reasons that I do support, particularly Donald Trump on this one particular issue, is Iran. And just to give some context, 26-year veteran, U.S. Army, GWAT, for those who don't know what that is, Global War on Terror, have spent quite a bit of time in combat and in other places in the world. So there are some things with regards to that particular topic that I have a pretty deep passion about, just given some of the experiences that I have. And I've listened to your videos asking about, what is strategy, and listening through that. You make some excellent points, but I also want to counterbalance that a little bit, because I do think that there's a lot of things that people don't know and that they're missing. I don't know if you have any questions before I go any further, so I don't want to interrupt you.
Okay, so just to be clear, so the reason that you still support Donald Trump is you think that the war in Iran is a benefit to America.
I think it is just from particular points of view.
Just?
So what I would say,
the question I asked is it a benefit to the United States of America?
yes, it is in certain ways, in other ways not.
Well, okay, is it a net positive or a net negative?
Right now, I would say it's a net positive.
Okay, how is it a net positive?
Okay, so what my point of contention would be is, number one, people say that we have not been in a war. We have been in a war since 1979. You can look at Iran and look at their particular actions, especially via proxy and are directly related to terrorist attacks, bombings, and I could go down and name them, but I'm not going to go through every single one of them. But what you have is a state that has created a destabilizing instance, not only through the Middle East, but then in other countries as well. I'll give an example of this. 1992, we could talk about the Israeli bombing in Argentina.
The question I asked you was, how is this a net positive for the United States of America?
Sure. So the way that I would say that is a net positive to the United States of America is simply this. From a psychological point of view, if you allow these type of individuals, this theology, to continue to run rampant without any level of consequence, you will continue to have that problem no matter what happens.
Oh, got it. You just don't like Muslim people. Got it. Okay, cool. It's just needed to get there.
It has
okay,
nothing
great.
to do with not liking.
You just said this.
You
just said this ideology, right?
The ideology of hardliners, specifically.
Of what?
Of IRGC and hardliners. That is what I'm referring to.
Okay, so you are fine with Islam otherwise, right?
I don't particularly have any problems with Islam as a whole. A religion is religion. Individuals make a choice to do what they believe is correct. However, you do have individuals in all religions that have an extremist point of view and purport that into society and into the world.
Because I'm just a little confused. Because if you're concerned about Islamic hardliners, then why haven't we bombed Saudi Arabia?
It's a very simple proposition. We've had deeply tied economic relations with Saudi Arabia in the sense that when you look at companies like Saudi Aramco,
and I guess they've never done anything to sponsor a major terrorist event that impacted the United States of America directly, right?
Well, if you're referring to Osama bin Laden, some of the 9/11 terrorists,
14 of them,
Saudis?
14 of them.
Sure, but
yeah, and also the Saudi government helped finance it, along with the Qataris. But it's really weird because the Saudi government is a hardline Islamic government, and they literally helped with the worst terror attack on America in history, but I don't hear you calling for them.
I would also argue that the Saudi government is not out there dealing with proxies, also out there funding direct
they used to be
terrorist organizations.
They sure used to be. You know how we could stop Iran from funding proxies? And those, how those groups would go away?
Sure, go ahead, tell me.
If we stopped Israel from attacking them. Why does Hezbollah exist?
You mean Hezbollah in Lebanon? Specifically, they bombed the Beirut towers that were funded by Iran?
Sir, Hezbollah only exists in Lebanon, and so it's a simple question. Why does Hezbollah exist?
Depending on how you want to specifically look at it, being that it's a Shia Islamist, they were opposing Israel specifically.
Wait a second. They were just opposing Israel, or did they form due to a specific event happening?
Well, in the Lebanese Civil War, specifically in the 1980s.
Did they form because of a specific event happening, yes or no?
I would say due to the Lebanese Civil War, that is a specific
No, sir.
event,
They formed because Israel invaded Lebanon. And why were there people that were Shia Muslims in southern Lebanon that never existed there before?
Why were they there?
Yes. Why were they there when they never existed there before? Why were there hundreds of thousands of Shia Muslims in southern Lebanon?
In terms of their pattern, I don't know specifically why they were there, but yes, there was a marginalized Shiite. My understanding is there was a marginalized Shiite community.
They were the Palestinians that had been kicked out of Israel in the Nakba in 1948. 300,000 of them ended up in southern Lebanon. The Lebanese government had no military that was strong enough to kick them out because they had just become an independent power in 1943 from the French because they were a colony. So in 1969, they signed the Cairo Agreements. I assume you're familiar with the Cairo Agreements?
Yes, I'm familiar with the Cairo Agreements. I don't know every aspect of it.
It's not super complicated. It just is basically just saying that the Lebanese government couldn't handle the PLO, which existed in southern Lebanon, which ended up turning into
Are you asking me a question?
It ended up turning into Hezbollah. That's how Hezbollah formed, because they were disaffected people who had been kicked out of their homes, and then Israel invaded southern Lebanon, which is where they were. That's why Hezbollah formed. It's not because Iran wanted to just, like, go spread terrorism. I don't agree with Hezbollah, by the way, and they've done terrible things, and I don't support or condone them. That's not the point of this. But my point here is to shine a light on the fact that, like, we kind of have to be a little bit objective here and say, well, wait a second. They're literally just doing something in response to what's already happened. Everything that has happened with Iran has been in response to things that have happened. Like, what happened in 1953? You sound like you know history, so you know what happened in 1953 in Iran, right?
Yes, yes, I know that there was potentially there's coup with CIA. I understand. I'm not arguing.
Right. So we fucked up their government, so that's why the Islamic Revolution happened.
I agree with you.
Right. So we're to blame.
I agree with that.
We're to blame for the clerics being in charge.
I mean, if you're trying to make a correlation from 1953 to 1979, I'm not sure I would make that direct.
It's literally the reason that everybody says that's why the revolution, because the Shah was fucking terrible. He fucking treated his people like shit. It's our fault. They revolted. Maybe we should have let them keep their democratically elected leader who wanted to nationalize their oil.
Their oil, yes.
Yeah. Oh, but, you know, we're the United States of America. Fuck democracy, right? Oh, and by the way, shout out to the British who also helped out. Fucking British Petroleum, BP.
That is correct.
Yep.
It
us
was
and the
BP
British.
because they didn't want it to be nationalized.
Yep.
I'm not disagreeing with that particular factor. And all those things did play into, I'm not saying they didn't completely play into it. They did. But once you get past that particular point, for instance, there is interviews around 1980 where Khomeini basically says his greatest enemy is America. Now, whether or not that is a derivative of 1953 or lead up to it, maybe it is, or maybe it's for other reasons.
It's for a multitude of reasons. I mean, when the Iranians have literally said on multiple occasions, even their leadership has said that they don't necessarily hate the American people, but they hate the American government. They hate the fact that the American government meddled in their country and put them under the Shah's rule for so long. That's number one. And number two, they don't like the fact that the United States is meddling in the Middle East via Israel and allowing Israel to run roughshod on the countries all around it without any consequences, and is allowing them to commit a genocide in Gaza without any consequence. I mean, those are real things. So, I mean, again, I think the clerics in Iran are fucking terrible people. They're terrible people. I don't support them, and I'm glad that they're not of this, that a number of them are not of this earth anymore. That's fine. That's great. But it doesn't change the fact that this was not the right move geopolitically, or for the safety of the United States of America, or for our economy.
I mean, that's a matter of. I hear what you're saying. I respect your opinion. I might disagree with some of that. Some of that I do agree with you. From a economic standpoint, that does create a strain. But the other flip argument of that is that if the issue with Iran and proxies and other terrorist organizations like Al-Shabaab, or for instance Boko Haram, or several other ones, that is not directly related to the Middle East. They are furthering that hardline stance within other parts of the world, as an example. And so when you have that particular issue, at some point, something's going to give, whatever that may be. If the argument that you're making is that from us, it does not do anything from our strategic point of view, I might slightly push back on that, in the sense that at some point, you have to stand up and say, okay, enough's enough. We need to at least send the message the other direction, that there is some consequences for your actions in regards to that. Now, the other part of that I agree with you on is from an economic standpoint. Yes, it does create an economic hardship, not just specifically with the U.S., but for many other countries in the world, because you have 20% of the world's oil, our LNG as well, going through the Strait of Hormuz. I don't disagree that is an issue. And from a strategic point of view, if you are going to engage in that particular types of conflict, you better be prepared for that particular outcome and how you're going to deal with it. I don't think we did a very good job of dealing with it. But from a specifically, hey, there has to be a pushback and a message going the other direction, because when you deal with individuals, particularly like this, who have a free reign and don't get a whole lot of pushback when they are funding or doing other types of activities throughout other parts of the world, it just emboldens them to continue to go and do this over and over. And so there has to be some form of hey, enough's enough. We're going to do A, B, and C. Here's the kicker. I'm under no illusion that we can significantly degrade them from a military standpoint, and 10 or 15 years from now, they're just going to build right back up and try to do it again. I'm not arguing that's not going to happen. I thoroughly believe it'll happen. However, that doesn't mean that you passively sit by and never do anything. And there's where the issue comes in when you look at some of the things that have happened. And if you go,
so why aren't we doing anything with Russia? Why aren't we doing anything with North Korea? Why aren't we doing anything with? Why aren't we doing any? Is it because they don't have a nuclear weapon, right?
Yeah,
got it. Cool. So now,
I'm not
what?
Arguing with
Great.
That.
What's that?
I'm not arguing with what you just said. Sir.
Great. So, what we've now proven to the entire world is you'd better get a nuclear weapon, or we can fuck with you. Right?
Maybe.
So, how detrimental do you think this is? Because what's Iran's sole focus going to be now?
Their focus has already been to get a nuclear weapon.
No, it actually wasn't. We already know that because our Director of National Intelligence told us that on March 18th of this year. She said they had not restarted their nuclear program after Operation Midnight Hammer.
At that point, that's correct. But prior to that,
no, sir.
They had.
No, sir. There was no reason to attack them after Operation Midnight Hammer. And prior to that, we had the JCPOA, which Donald Trump ripped up for no reason.
There are plenty of criticism of JPCOA. Not saying that the Iranians didn't abide by some of it, because they absolutely did, but there's also plenty of criticism going the other way, like sunset provisions, not addressing ballistic missile programs specifically. Also, they had a 24-hour window where if inspectors wanted to go, they could delay them within 24 hours, which gave them the ability to move things like uranium and other things around and not showing them. So there's plenty of criticism.
Except for the fact that when you say that that was a provision that they could have done, do you know how many times that actually happened and the IAEA reported on it?
A few that I'm aware of, but not many.
Just a very few, a handful of times. In fact, so few that it's completely negligible to talk about. So while the JCPOA was being participated in by the United States, that was not an issue. And quite frankly, I'll take a slightly flawed deal that has some holes in it that we need to keep working on. I'll take that if it has diplomatic relations with Iran open and keeps us in the game, as opposed to, fuck you, we're ripping up the deal that we worked so hard to put into place and giving you the big middle finger.
I mean, that's
not good
one
diplomacy.
Thing that you could do.
It's not good geopolitics. It's not good statecraft. There's nothing smart about it. Donald Trump lit a match, put it next to the tinderbox, and then is coming back now and he's like, see? They wanted a nuclear weapon. I better stomp out this fire. Like, you ripped up the deal. Make it make sense. I don't get it, dude.
I mean, I could see it from both particular perspectives. I mean, that's a perspective that if it could have been renegotiated for certain types of provisions, that may have been something that worked.
It wouldn't have had to be renegotiated until now. It would have lasted until now.
But it still would not have addressed issues, again, ballistic missile and proxy, funded proxy, regional proxy specifically.
That doesn't matter. That part doesn't matter. The part that matters is we don't want them to have a nuclear weapon, right? You have to start somewhere. I understand. Are we going to be all dewy-eyed and be like, we want everything. We want it all to be perfect. We can't do that. You and I both know that. We're both old enough. We've been around. We know. You and I, that's not a thing that happens. You start somewhere. Diplomatically, that was a major breakthrough with Iran. Now, they have zero reason to ever trust us, and we have created an entire... You want to talk about state-funded terrorism? Fucking forget that. We've created a generation of terrorists. I'm not worried about them funding Hezbollah and Hamas at this point in time. I'm worried about the people that lost their parents or their kids or their grandparents or their aunts and their uncles or their cousins or their siblings or whoever the fuck it is when they grow up or in the next couple of years or whatever the fuck it is. Those people fucking hate us now. What if you're one of the parents or the siblings of the people that lost one of those kids in the school? You fucking hate us. We have now literally created an entire group of terrorists that did not exist before. Think about that. I'm worried about them.
I know you were talking, sir, but you blanked out for a while, so I didn't hear the last part of it.
Where did it cut out?
It cut out for a pretty maybe 20 seconds of the last part. I just couldn't hear the last part of what you were saying.
Basically, my point is that by in attacking them in this war and the civilian casualties and what we've done, we've created a generation of terrorists, people that hate the United States of America.
You would have created that regardless.
Wrong. That's wrong. That's wrong. Absolutely not. Because you know what? If somebody drops a bomb on your kid's school and they kill your daughter or your son, that radicalizes you. If that doesn't happen, maybe you're not radicalized. Like, do you understand? Like, that's the difference that we're talking about here. Like, or you watched your parent get killed in front of you or blown up or something like that. You grow up, that never leaves you. You're going to figure out a way to get back at the United States of America. As opposed to, you just grew up in Iran, you don't like America, but you weren't going to go and strap a device to yourself and do something. It's completely different. We are literally creating terrorists.
There is no scenario where you will not have either somebody who does not believe in that cause not become a terrorist, or even if you kill somebody who doesn't. They're always going to be that issue. It is going to happen no matter what you do. I am a firm believer that economics will actually help uplift people. That brings them out of some of that
So
environment.
You're saying that what we should have done is stay in the JCPOA and lifted the economic sanctions on them?
That's not what I'm saying.
Well, then you just said that you're a firm believer in that the economic situation would be the right thing to do.
That is correct. In environments that have the ability to actually create a society that can grow. You believe that the RGC, and you believe specifically in Iran, that individuals have the same abilities they have in UAE or Saudi Arabia?
The same abilities? Hold on. The same abilities? No, because those are all very different countries from a certain perspective. Caller, you were in the military. How did we win the Cold War?
Culture.
Oh.
As one of those issues.
Culture is one of those, right? It wasn't because Russia looked at us one day and they were like, we give up. It was because we, over years and years and years, we spent money around the world, obviously, because, USAID and all the good things that we did, and we were the good guys. We were the good guys, and we were doing all of those different things. We're building bridges. We're giving out rice. We're giving out food, wheat, etc. We were doing all of those things, so we're winning over the hearts and minds of people. Capitalism good, communism bad. Look at the Reds. Fuck them. And then, also, we're, like, piping in the fucking West. We're like, Western culture, Western culture, Western culture. That's what we're giving them. Why would it be so wrong in Iran to give them the economic ability to uplift themselves? Because the economic ability to uplift themselves, if we lift sanctions and they start dealing with us on a diplomatic level and more people want to start doing business with them, the thing that helped us with Russia was people wanted to make money there. And the thing that could help us with Iran is that people want to make money there too. Even some of the hardline Muslim clerics, probably they want to make money. And so if we give them opportunities to make money, we could probably have an in to help westernize them or to give people opportunities. We could do that. That's soft power, my friend. That's soft power. JFK had it right. That's how we won the Cold War. And we didn't do it overnight, but we did it. It took 25 years, but we did it. We could have done the same thing in Iran. We could have had a soft power approach with them, with the JCPOA, build up trust, ease economic sanctions, start to work with them. I'm not saying it's perfect, but it would have been far more safe for the United States of America from a security perspective, far more safe from an economic perspective, instead of bombing them. Like, you don't see that?
No, I hear specifically what you're saying. I mean, there's merit to part of the argument that, or I wouldn't even say argument, but the debate that you're bringing up. I don't think there's not merit to it, but I also think there also has to be done in a very specific and controlled manner. And also, if you're going to do it the way that you decided, you could start with nuclear, but you still have to include these other aspects into it, because if you take off all those sanctions, right? You front load it and give all the cash, which is what we did specifically, and then they continue to do the same things that they've been doing, then where are you at that point? You're gonna go backwards and put them back in the sanctions? I'm just asking you, curious as how you would deal with that particular situation.
Yeah, put them back. Like, it's real simple. Like, you have incentives, it's carrot and stick. It's like real simple deal stuff. Again, they want to make money. Like, they're human beings like the rest of us. Like, it's one of the reasons why with everything that I've ever read, firmly in the tank that Putin will never pull the trigger. Ever on a nuke. And the reason why I don't think that Putin would ever do that is because the oligarchs around him would never let him. They like their wealth too much. He would take a fall from a window by mistake, or something would happen to his plane in the air. Like, something would happen to him if things were getting serious, or people thought that he was moving in that direction, because the oligarchs in Russia, they like their fucking money. All of these people like their money. This is not a thing that's ever going to change. We could have had that with Iran. And to say, like, well, but we would have needed other things. Yes, we all agree that the JCPOA was a start. It was a start. But to turn around a year and a half later and rip it up for no reason was not good. It was just, there was no reasoning behind it. So it's very confusing if you're going to say that economics would help the situation, but then we're going to be like, well, but no, we didn't want to do the economic fix.
Sure. I mean, they're all fair points. I'm not saying that you don't have legitimate or fair points. I think there's counter arguments to all of those things specifically, but I'm not arguing that you have a fair point. And to some extent, I can see where you're coming from, and I can appreciate specifically where you're coming from. The reason why I said economics is I was referring to as an example of Afghanistan, where you have a very tribal or feudalistic society, and you're not able to build up. One of the things that you get, especially with Taliban or other types of groups, is that they provide some level of substance or belonging for some people, because they live in a very a rough environment. A lot of areas in that country are very tribalistic with warlords, and people do struggle at times to survive. And so when you're in that particular environment and you don't see that opportunity, which you made a fair point about JPCOA and then economics, you tend to breed this idea. It's very easy to get attracted to the ideals of something that you believe are going to further whatever cause or whatever thing that you're looking for. And so this is why I specifically said in regards to economics. Even in Iraq, you can state that as well. And I make no bones about the fact that we destabilized Iraq in many ways. I'm not arguing that. I was there. I know what happened. I went there quite a few times. So there's a multitude of things that come into play with that. If the JPCOA was something that may have done it, maybe you're right. Maybe there was something, and maybe we didn't let it go far enough into it, even though there were criticism, even though I had specific criticisms of it. But at that point, that's what happened then, and this is where we're at now. So the problem is where we're at now is that we said, hey, enough is enough. This is our red line, and this is where we're going to go to. The problem that I have at this point is from a strategic point of view is that, yeah, you may have defanged them and declawed them, which I don't have an issue with or a problem with, but it's what transitions next. Where does that go from, and then where can you specifically be? And I think you made a valid point in that is, you're going to have individuals that are hardliners, IRGC hardliners, that are going to do everything they can to get a nuclear weapon and take that 60% enriched uranium, which we know had because the IAEA has already stated they had it, and try to enrich that up to weapons grade bomb of some sort. And so the question is, at this point, how do you have an off ramp, which I think most people, at least from a strategic point of view, say, hey, yeah, where's the off ramp? Where's it going to go from here? And then how do you deal with it? But as far as sending a message and crossing a red line and defaming them, I don't particularly have an issue with that because I dealt with Shia-funded militia groups, and I understand specifically how that affects not only us, but how that affects local populations when you're dealing with it. So at some point, you can only take that so long before you have to fight fire with fire, so to speak, because some of those individuals do not understand any other thing than absolute force. And when you don't show some level of force at some point, they take that as weakness and will try to run roughshod over you. That's my own personal experience. Other people may disagree with that, but that's kind of where I'm at this point.
I don't really understand what showing of force we had to do. Iran already knew what our military consisted of. There was no danger of that, and so did their proxies. So that's not a thing that we had to do. If we were worried about them getting more money to fund those proxy groups, we probably shouldn't have started a war with them and then decided that we wanted to try to goose oil prices down. So then we lifted some sanctions on them and allowed them to sell oil to the tune of making an additional $15 to $16 billion, which is far more than they were getting with the JCPOA. So, I mean, like, you can say that's where we were then, this is where we are now. I mean, this is not how things work. We have to say this was a direct consequence of this other thing, and we shouldn't have done that. And there is no good off ramp here, and we're not in a position of power negotiating, and we haven't defanged or declawed them. We hurt their navy, but the reports are coming out now, which I bet you've seen, that we've severely underestimated the amount of munitions that we thought they had used or that we had destroyed. They have far more on hand than we had thought, by like 50%. So that's not good. Like they're digging in, and you and I both know, sounds like you have experience, that there's no ground invasion happening here. That's an insane gambit.
I agree.
You know, with the size of the IRGC and the geography of Iran, that would be a massacre. I do not want our military members to that's unconscionable to me. I'm already upset that we've got 13 down. It's unacceptable, especially, again, in a war that did not need to be fought. That's the thing, is that this whole, like, we needed to show them or show force. We're the greatest military in the world. They already knew that. Everybody already knew. We didn't have to do this. Erika, hello, friend. How are you?
Hello, I remained quiet to start with because I thought I'd stumbled into a TED talk.
Well, yeah, it's
Um,
okay. I assume you had something you want. I figured you would jump in whenever, but I wanted to, you know.
oh no, I didn't have anything specific to say apart from, you know, a president, coming into office saying he doesn't want to be the world police and he doesn't want to, you know, no new wars and we're not going to do any regime change. And everyone telling us for months that that's the reasons that they voted for him. And then as soon as he starts a new war, suddenly everybody's like, no, but this one's fine. No new wars unless it's against Iran and it's waged by Donald Trump, in which case it's absolutely fine. I mean, no new wars means no new wars, doesn't it? Not apart from this one by this president, I would have thought.
I also would have thought that too.
You looking at me, Matt?
I'm just looking.
Cool.
Caller, you still with us?
I'm still with you. I was just
Okay.
not trying to interrupt her and let her speak.
Okay. Yeah.
I heard exactly what she said.
Okay.
I I I heard point for point. Yes, he did say no new wars. 100% said hear what you said. I'm not necessarily a person that says no new wars. I understand what he said. He went exactly against, you call it a conflict, a war, whatever you want to call it. He went against what he said. I do have issues with that specifically. If that's the case, then so be it with him. But then again, Donald Trump says a lot of things that are inflammatory or just flat out not true. I think we all can agree to that. Specifically, my point of contention is irrespective of what he says, because he says a lot of things that don't necessarily add up or make sense a lot of times, and it can be fact checked as being incorrect or at least partially correct, but not with all the context,
So
which is
can
what
I
tends
just
to
check?
happen.
Sorry, I wasn't here when you came in, but did you vote for him?
Yes, I did.
So if you're saying, well, he says a lot of things that are inflammatory and he says a lot of things that are untrue, how did you know what you were voting for? If you're now saying that, well, we know that some of the things that he says are untrue, how did you know what you were voting for?
Well, I would say a couple of things. Just going back and looking at some of the economic progress that was made during his first term. Here's the thing: there's no politician that is completely honest, whether it's Donald Trump or any other politician. So you have to just kind of glean from what is actually happening, and who's going to say what, who's going to say do A, B, or C. One of the things I would say about Trump, like him, love him, hate him, whatever you want to do, is he says things, but he at least attempts to do what he's specifically saying. You
Hang
can
on,
disagree
hang
whether it's
on.
wrong or right.
You've just contradicted yourself.
How did I contradict myself, man?
Just 1 minute ago, you said that and very correctly, by the way, you said that he's on record as lying, like not just a couple of times, like a lot of times. And you said he says a lot of inflammatory things. And you just said then, at least he tries to do what he says. So which one is it? Is it that he lies a lot? In which case, if he lies a lot, then he's not trying to do what he says. Or is it that he tries to do what he says?
Two things can be true at the same time. He could be not completely honest and still try to do the things that he says. They're not.
So,
They don't necessarily have to be mutually exclusive. I.
so
I
he
mean,
tries to do a lot of things that he lied about.
That's not what I
There,
said. What I
there
said
is
is that
one
two
thing.
things can be.
There is one thing that the people that watch Matt and watch me a lot will tell you. I am really fucking good at remembering what people said 5 minutes ago. Like I'm probably the best person at remembering that shit. And I'm also really good at picking up logical inconsistencies. And you are being logically inconsistent.
I'm not sure why you would say that I'm being logically inconsistent. I
Oh, I
said that
can
you
point
could
that
not
out.
be
It's
completely
because you're
truthful.
being logically inconsistent.
I would disagree with your assertion, but that's certainly an opinion that you could make. You can still say things out of context that can be proven that are not true and still attempt to do other things that are not related to what you're referring to. And that happens across all politicians. You'll hear politicians say something that's not in full context, that's not correct, that we know we can check, and then say other things that I'm going to do this and do it. That doesn't necessarily mean that's an inconsistency. Again, two things can be true at the same time.
Am I wrong that you made an assertion that he does what he says he's going to do?
I did make an assertion. That is correct.
Okay.
I didn't say all the time, though.
If he does that, what he says he's going to do, has he stayed out of other countries' business and started no new wars? Which is what he said he was going to do.
And I said very pretty clear that that's what he said, and he has not done such. And I will say that again.
So he doesn't do what he says he's going to do then?
In that particular instance, he did not do what he said he was going to do.
Cool.
Wow.
I'm glad we got back to where we started.
It's weird because it seems like there's a ton of things that he said that he was going to do that he didn't do.
Matt, didn't he say that he was going to slash the prices of groceries and fuel on day one?
Yep. And he also
Did he
promised.
say?
Oh yeah. What?
Oh, go on. Did he say he was going to end the Russia-Ukraine war before he even got into office, like as soon as he was elected?
Yeah, the day after he was elected, and said the same thing about Israel and Gaza too. He also claimed that he was going to lower energy prices across the board, and boy howdy, that didn't happen. Oh cow!
Oh yeah, hang on. He said he was going to halve the price of electricity, right?
Yes.
Okay. Didn't he say at one point he was going to build a wall and make Mexico pay for it, and then try to make Congress pay for it?
Yep. In his first
Okay.
term, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Didn't he say he was going to do what was it? Mass like repatriation of undocumented migrants when in his first year in office he repatriated less migrants than Joe Biden did in his last year in office.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he said that. Don't forget, he said he was going to cut pharmaceutical prices by 800%, 900%, 1,000%. What about that?
Well, I don't know whether he can do math, because that would mean that you were paying people to take pharmaceuticals.
I mean, I'm in. I'm like, that would be great. It's weird that hasn't happened yet. What about the free IVF he promised? He said he was going to do that.
Oh yeah, is that happening?
Well, I don't know, because he had promised a healthcare plan to us 10 years ago that he said he was going to have in 2 weeks that we haven't seen yet.
Didn't he also promise an infrastructure plan every 2 weeks for his first presidency?
Yeah, that's true. We did get that. But he did rename the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America, just for America. So we did get that.
I think the Strait of Hormuz should be renamed the Strait of Iran, just for funsies. They should just tell everyone they're doing that.
Caller, what has he promised that he's followed through on? Out of curiosity.
Sure. I mean, tariffs are number one. trying to make it easier for regulations on drilling, specifically. Transgender policies, black and gender affirming care, attempting to do that in regards to youth. I'm not arguing these are great policies. I'm just telling you things that he has said, or at least attempted to do and gone through. Dealt with the Department of Education in terms of deregulate it, so it goes back to the states specifically. Dealing with
hang on.
DEI programs.
Hang on. What goes back to the states?
Well, the whole idea of giving the states to rape in terms of dealing with their particular education during their current
They already had that. They already had that.
That's how it already
That's
works.
not what the Department for Education did, sir. You don't even know what the Department for Education did.
Well, they dealt with student loans as part of the Department of Education, grants and programs.
Yeah.
So, yes, actually, I do.
IEPs. But you just said send it back to the states and let the states deal with their own education. The states already deal with their own education. In fact, it is a federal law that prohibits the federal government in any way, manner, shape, or form from writing curriculum for states or being involved in curriculum for states. It's literally against the law. States already do their own education. The only thing that the Department of Education handles, grants, loans, IEPs, and like an additional funding. That's what they do. It just hurts students across the board. Because if you don't have an organization that's providing IEPs to kids that need them, who provides them?
Well, IEPs for kids that have learning disabilities specifically.
Yeah, exactly.
That you're referring to.
Right. So if the federal government isn't providing them and having a department that ensures that kids who are disabled are getting fair and equal schooling to other kids, because that's what the Department of Education was really doing, because that's really important. It's important to me that kids who have special needs are getting those needs met. That's important to me. So if their Department of Education isn't existing and they're not doing it, who's doing it?
Well, I mean, generally the states could do it if it was done in the correct manner.
Oh,
but
so did the Trump
arguing
administration set up
about
did the Trump administration set up a system in advance with the states to handle IEPs or properly push it off to another government agency to make sure that kids were taken care of? Or did they just shutter the Department of Education with no plan?
They reduced parts of the Department of Education. That
with
is
no
correct.
plan,
I
exactly.
can't
So
speak-
that's great.
I don't
But
know
you know
if
what?
there's
So
no
yeah, let's
plan.
put a feather in the cap for that one. Then you talked about transgender policies. Donald Trump at the federal level can't do anything really to do any. He wrote a couple of executive orders, but the shit that he did, other than like saying some words, hasn't done anything. That hasn't done like anything at all. Then you talked about the tariffs. Well, guess what? Wrong. He fucking failed at the tariffs. Not only have they been a complete fucking boondoggle, every time he tried to do them, he took them off or he reduced them because he realized that he was fucking with the economy. And then the Supreme Court said, hey, you can't actually do the tariffs. So now, for all of us, we had to pay a bunch of extra fucking money over the last year to all these companies that charged us for tariffs. And now those companies are getting all of that money back to the tune of $200 billion. They're getting the money back. Do you think that we're going to get refund checks? No, we're not. We're not getting refund checks, but they are. The businesses are. So the businesses all get their money back. We get shit. So Donald Trump fucked around with tariffs, screwed up our economy, cost us a bunch more money, and made a bunch of businesses some extra money, and we got fucked. So what was his promise with tariffs again? That it was going to lower costs or bring manufacturing back to America? Oh, that's right. Donald Trump has lost manufacturing jobs in his first year in office.
Yes, there were manufacturing jobs that were lost.
Yes.
You asked
So
me for a list of things that he attempted to do. I didn't say I
no,
agree
no.
with
I
all of
asked
them.
you.
I
I
was
asked you for
simply
things
pointing them
that
out.
he did that he said he promised he was going to do and then did. He promised he was going to do tariffs to lower prices and bring manufacturing back to America. He did neither of those things.
But I gave you what he said he was going to do. I didn't
No,
say
he
I
said
agreed.
what he said he was going to do wasn't just I'm going to do tariffs. Period. The end. He said I'm going to do tariffs so you get lower prices and we bring manufacturing back to America. That didn't happen.
It hasn't happened yet.
It's not going to happen. The Supreme Court has said that he can't do the tariffs. They ruled
Some of the
against
tariffs
him.
are still in place. Some of them
Yes,
can be
that's
used
because
under
he had a
different-
6-month window under the emergency rule to keep them in place. After that, he almost certainly isn't going to be able to keep them in place.
And
But
I'm not saying that's not true completely.
it,
I'm not disagreeing with that point. But you asked
the
me for a
other,
list of things that he attempted to do. I didn't tell you they were good, bad, or indifferent. I only
I
gave you a
didn't ask
particular
for a
list.
list of things that he attempted to do. I said, what things has he said that he was going to do that he did? That's what I said. That's what I wanted. Not what did he attempt. We could go through any president and be like, oh, they tried to do that. I wanted to know, like, what has he actually fucking done? And the things that you listed, he didn't actually do.
well, it's weird because now we're both just making lists, or well, all three of us are just making lists of things that he hasn't done. That's what we're down to now. Is three people with at least Matt and I have a marginally different point of view, but your point of view is very different to ours. And all of us are now just making lists of shit he hasn't done.
I didn't bring up these topics. You guys did. Mine was strictly about Iran and nothing else. I don't have any arguments with some of the things that neither one of you has specifically said in regards to it, because I can objectively look at several of these things and see how there are unintended consequences to those particular actions. See, there's a misnomer here that I may have a different opinion on some of these things that you do. Probably I don't have that different. Maybe I have some, but I don't know if I have as much as you may think. My point was only Iran. It was not other particular issues or instances. I could go through a host of things I don't particularly agree with, which you may agree or may disagree, or maybe you may go further than what I would. However, that's not what I initially called to talk about. And then it get transitioned into this particular topic.
That first of all, that tends to be how having a conversation works. But secondly, what I was pointing out to you initially is the reason you are up here is to support him doing something that he said he was not going to do. And pointing out to you that you voted for a man who really you have no idea what he was going to do, because by your own admission, he is a man who bloviates, obfuscates, and outright lies in 90% of what he's saying. You can't have voted for him because you wanted him to go to war with Iran, because he was saying he wasn't going to do that.
That's correct. He said that he wasn't going to do that. But after we engaged in that particular in that particular in the particular conflict, or you might say war, depending on how you want to clarify it, in that particular instance, just from my own personal experiences, which I did explain, why I do have support for it for certain reasons. Whether or not you guys agree or disagree, I completely understand that and I can respect that. But I think I was clear as to why I believe that particular instance. In regards to Trump and unto himself, first of all, just to be clear here, I don't believe any politician that, generally speaking, and I'm making a general assertion, this doesn't mean it's approved for everybody, but all of them lie at some point. All of them are not completely honest, and all of them don't do things they say they're going to do. And so the question comes down to how do you align with what is being said, or do you have something that has tilted you into a different perspective? And so everybody has to make that choice or opinion. I'll give you a general example. Personally, I didn't have a problem with Obama, but I didn't particularly care for Joe Biden for specific reasons, which I'm not going to go through. But and then I was okay with Trump because at least he had a track record from an economic standpoint in his
of being a complete failure and ruining multiple businesses and being completely fucking shitty at business. And you caught the you fell for the fact that you thought that he was a good businessman.
I think any person has some level of failure. I don't.
Nobody.
I know
no,
that he
as a
had
business owner,
failures.
no, as a business owner, I can tell you that if I went past bankruptcy number 2, I would never get another loan ever again. Ever, not ever. Donald Trump literally only managed to come back because he got $400 million when his dad died. That's about it. And even then, he still mismanaged that and fucked it up. He lost $1 billion in 10 years. He's literally one of the worst businessmen of our time who managed to fail himself upward. And the only reason that you think that he's a good businessman is probably because of The Apprentice.
Matt, do you
No,
know?
it's not because of The Apprentice.
Matt, do you
I
know?
look at GDP. I look at other factors.
Oh, really? You want to talk about the GDP? We can do that in a second. Yes, Erika.
I was just going to say, did you know that up until Donald Trump's second presidency, if he had just invested the money that his father left him when he unalived into the stock market, into kind of a range of different stocks, he would have made more money from just investing it and leaving it than he did from his businesses.
Yeah, actually, specifically the S&P 500. If he had just stuck it in a fund in the S&P 500, he would have more money than he does now if he didn't do anything.
Yeah, and the only reason he has more money than that now is because he keeps doing these things which are sucking money from people who support him, like meme coins, which people buy an exorbitantly high rate and then are worth nothing, or the Truth Social, which people bought shares at an hugely overpriced rate and now are worth not much.
Pump and dump.
Yeah, absolutely. Meme stocks.
Yeah, it's the same as what used to be when my dad was a stockbroker in the 80s, and they called them penny stocks. And it would be they do a pump and dump scheme. It's the same thing now. They just do it with crypto or with like whatever you have with True Social, whatever. Yeah, same thing. So, but I mean, I'd love to know what was he successful at in business?
During his presidency, what was he successful at?
No, I mean, you said that you respected him enough to vote for him because of his economic prowess.
During the first presidency, that's what I.
Oh, you mean during the first presidency when he ended Barack Obama's unbroken streak of GDP growth and put us on a path to a recession even before COVID-19? And lost more manufacturing jobs.
What GDP percentage are we talking about?
And lost more manufacturing jobs than Barack Obama did before him and Joe Biden after him. Oh, wait, that's right. Joe Biden added manufacturing jobs, while Donald Trump lost 120,000 manufacturing jobs, not counting COVID.
So when you're talking about GDP, you're talking about 2017, 18,
talking
19?
about Q4 of 2019, where we saw the first downturn, the first negative GDP growth in 72 months.
What was the total for that year?
You want off the top of my head? I don't remember what the total.
Well, it's 2.3%. If that's what you want to know.
Cool. Again, it was the first negative downturn in 72 months. Why
Okay,
did we hit
in
the...
a quarter.
What's that?
You mean in a quarter? It was the first negative downturn.
Yes, in a quarter. I'm saying there were 72 months of 6 years of straight growth, sir. That's what I'm saying. Can say it however you want. That's all. And I'm wondering why if Donald Trump was so great at the economy and everything was going so well, why we had our very first downturn in the economy before COVID-19 ever happened.
I mean, there could be a number of reasons. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I've researched every single thing about 2019 in regards to why that particular that quarter
It's
happened.
okay. I have. It's because of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act was really kicking into effect, and the greater effects that were happening from it ended up getting masked by COVID-19, but we were going into a manufacturing recession because of it.
Okay.
Donald Trump literally just rode Obama's coattails, and then his own tax bill caught up with him at the end of 2019. If we hadn't gone into COVID-19, most economists agree that we would have seen a recession.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I don't understand people that say that they voted him for economic reasons because he didn't do anything for the economy.
I think what it comes down to is when you had the tax cuts, people saw additional, some people, I'm not saying all, but some people saw additional returns, for instance, from taxes. And then people sometimes correlate that. And I'll be the first one to tell you that, yeah, I mean, at the time when I looked at it and then looked at some of the pricing with the CPI and then went from that particular point, I'd say, okay, yeah, this looks great. And I think that does play into a factor of it as well. So, yes, the Trump tax cuts did give some people, yes, and it did give rich people stuff too. Just I'm not even going to go with that because we all know that's the case.
It didn't just give rich people stuff too. 83% of the benefits from the tax cuts and job percent, 83% of the TCJA, the benefits went to the top 5% of the country. That seems a little disproportionate to me.
They're not rich enough, Matt. Matt, they're not rich enough. You just got to give them some more.
Agreed.
Look, I'm not rich enough for that either, so I'm not disagreeing with you. But that generally has happened in many bills.
No, actually, it hasn't. Not with Democratic presidents. And Kamala Harris's tax plan was actually geared for people making less than $400,000 a year. You wouldn't get a tax break if you made over $400,000 a year. And the largest tax breaks were for the people at the bottom. So that would have been nice.
He also ran as an anti-establishment candidate. And then in the first time he ran, he was like, I'm gonna drain the swamp. And then, proved through just the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act alone that he is the swamp, which is wild.
Yeah, I mean, obviously when you lower the corporate tax rate, I think the thought process there, I think what was it from 35, 36 to 21, 22? I think that sounds about right. I believe that's about right. I think the idea was that if you lower the tax rate, you'll get more investment. Problem with that is that that might have been the case, but generally they just went to their stock prices a lot of times. But I do think some people, including myself at the time, looked at that and said, oh, okay, I'm getting more money back. I'm doing A, B, and C. They doubled the child credit to $2,000 per child. I mean, I know that was one of the things that particularly transpired. But all of that could be fixed by a pretty simple thing. Just stop all of the all the loopholes in the tax code need to be pretty much rewritten to the point that it would preclude some of the issues that transpire.
So you mean like have more IRS agents to to make sure that the loopholes weren't being taken advantage of so that we could collect the taxes properly from the wealthy people?
Well, but there's still structural writing within the tax code that people still
Sure,
abuse.
but since we can't rewrite it immediately top to bottom, we could at least start with closing the loopholes that exist already by having more IRS agents that would make sure that the right people were paying the right taxes, especially the super wealthy ones, right?
Yeah, but if the structural part of the tax code is still there, I don't understand how you're getting to the point of saying adding more agents is going to stop that, because you've got to change the way the code is written.
Hang on, what's the point in changing the way the code is written if you have no one to enforce it?
Well, I understand what he's saying. I guess my point is you can have more agents, but you still have to change the structural point of the code itself.
No one's saying
as well.
No one's saying that you wouldn't change the I literally just said you should, but you can't just do it all at once. What you can do to start is you can get people to make sure that the existing tax code is properly enforced, which it's not being properly enforced. So what happened in 2022 was that Joe Biden provided for 87,000 new IRS agents to be hired in the Inflation Reduction Act so that we could start getting more back in taxes from the people that should be paying it that aren't paying it. That's a great start. Again, it's just like going back to the JCPOA, man. Like, you can't fix it immediately perfectly right away, but I'll take a fix, something to start, and then we could build on that and go from there.
Matt, do you remember the time that Donald Trump proposed that loopholes in the US tax system be closed? Do you remember that?
That he proposed them?
Do you remember that, Matt?
Or are we talking about when he debated with Hillary Clinton and talked about?
Hang on, sorry, I was just asking Matt a question. Is your name Matt? And you thought I was talking to you by mistake?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you say Matt.
Okay, Matt, do you remember when he proposed that?
No, I'm drawing a blank, Erika.
No, nor do I.
Huh, that's weird. Oh, and Erika, do you know who canceled the hiring of those IRS agents?
Oh.
And cut the budget of the IRS to make sure that we actually can't work on closing the existing tax burden, at least trying to get the money. You know who did that?
Hang on, I know this one. Was it well-known Hollywood action movie star Vin Diesel?
Oh, you were so close. It's actually well-known business fraud, convicted felon, and tax cheat, Donald Trump.
Oh, so I was quite close.
You really were, actually. If you had said Wesley Snipes, you would have been closer.
Well,
I mean, it's funny
you
sarcasm.
can't win them all.
I'll give you that.
What's that?
I said it's funny sarcasm. I definitely give her that.
Literally, I mean...
I don't know if you realize this, but I'm British. Sarcasm is like us. We don't do other languages.
Yeah, you have a dry sense of humor. I understand. I've been to England.
We don't do other languages as a rule, but sarcasm is our second language.
Yeah, I absolutely understand that. I have been to England, quite a few places in England, or Scotland, for that matter, or Wales.
Well, I don't know, man. Sounds like you're stuck supporting Trump because you don't want to be like, yeah, fuck this guy. So, I mean, I don't know. Doesn't sound like there's anything that we're going to say it's going to change your mind. So, yeah.
Well, I think I guess where I'm at this point is that there's some things that I agree with him on and other things that I don't agree with him on wholeheartedly. And like your previous caller, I wish that we had a third party, understanding that our founders didn't necessarily care for two-party systems.
Well, we don't have a third party, and you're lining yourself with a fascist. So, I mean, I guess we know where you stand.
Sure.
Okay, cool. Glad we figured that out. So when the boot that you're licking kicks you in the face, don't come crying to us.
I never thought that the leopards would eat my face.
Well, I mean, he was reasonable. That was a reasonable discussion, but like, fuck, dude.
What are you eating, Matt? Is it sweet tarts? It's normally sweet tarts.
I was gonna say something crazy. I was gonna be like, it's uppers or something. And now it's sweet tarts.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. TikTok's been a little sensitive the last couple of days, so we don't want to do that.
They've been kind of sensy. Agreed.
I was going to say something, but then I decided not to. I'll text it to you instead.
All right, fair. Guys, I'm gonna wrap because I've been on for a while. Because any of you who watched me earlier, you know that I've been on with Polly for a couple hours before we started here. So I'm tired. It's been a long evening, but I really appreciate you guys watching. Polly and I, that was his first co-host with someone in quite some time. I was really glad that it was with me. We had a fucking great time. Can't wait to do it again. Guys, don't worry, everything's fine with Nemo and I. Everything. I know you guys like freak out a little bit. Like if Nemo's, you're like something happened. Like guys, sometimes Nemo has to he's got to take a night off. Sometimes I have to take a night. You guys know that. These things happen. It doesn't mean that something bad is going on between us. Okay? So just everything's okay. Let's all take a deep breath. It's going to be all right.
I wonder if people walk into lives that Nemo's in and you're not and say, "Where's Matt? Why is Matt not here?"
I mean, I don't think so. I mean, it's like it's our regular, thing. People expect to see it. So I'm like, okay, fine.
Yeah, but they come in when we're on Friday and say, "Where's Nemo?" Mind you, that probably wasn't helped by the fact that last Friday you had politics with Matt and Nemo up, and I had to point out to you that you had Nemo's face up rather than my beautiful visage. Oh, you didn't have to do that now.
Well, I'm doing it in advance of tomorrow because I think we're gonna wrap up I'm gonna wrap up for tonight. So in advance of tomorrow, so I don't forget. Okay, so there you go.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, I forgive you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate your forgiveness. You're very kind, guys.
You're welcome.
If you're over on the tube, please make sure that you're following me. I'd really appreciate that you drop a subscribe over there. If you're over here on TikTok, this is my backup account. We'll be up on the backup account one more day tomorrow with my friend British Erika. Probably around 1-ish. I'll talk with her and we'll figure it out. But we'll be up tomorrow afternoon, Eastern Standard Time. So please make sure you click through and follow my main account. If you're just finding me, this is my backup account. Make sure you're following our friend Erika over here. Oh, you can follow other Erika too. If you'd like to offer additional support, drop links in the bios. That's always good. And if you're over on the tube, you can find links in the descriptions, or you can drop a last-minute super chat if you'd like. Hello, fellow other Erika. It's Erika Squared up here.
Just call me American Erika.
America?
Sure, I'll take it. Hello, I just came to do my nightly appearance, and that is all since you're wrapping up. Hi, Matt. Hi, Erika. Hope you have a great day. And Matt, take a damn nap. You seem pretty calm, though, so were those downers instead?
What? I don't know what
you heard me.
What? I don't know what you're talking about.
You heard me.
By the way, Erika, next week.
What day? What day?
What's that?
Remind me, what day?
Thursday.
Thursday, yes, Thursday next week. Matt is gonna. Oh, wait, are you hanging out over my place, right?
We didn't decide.
We did not decide. Which one is it gonna be?
We could do a coin. We can do. Well, last time I was with you. I don't know. We'll coin flip or something.
We'll figure that part out. Okay, but Matt and I are gonna co-host together. It's gonna be super duper fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun. All right. I think I'm gonna hide you, Matt. And so like when all the crazy guys call in, then like as soon as they get all crazy, I'm just gonna break you out and be like, Matt, talk to him.
Bah!
They keep calling and yell at me. Okay. All right. I'm going to sleep.
Go
It's
to
an
sleep.
early night tonight.
Yeah.
Good night, guys.
Go
I
to
just came
sleep.
to do like a wave bye.
All right. Hello. Hi. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, friend.
Hi, Erica. I'm yawning, and I just woke up. Like, what the hell? Mind you, if you're in the UK, bank holiday weekend, guys. If you're in a job that allows, you get Monday off. Woo woo! Well done, you.
Whoop whoop.
Woo woo.
Guys, not a ton of options. Let's go hang with Joey, because Joey is doing debates, and that would be great. But don't forget, tomorrow, Eric and I, around 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, keep an eye out for us. But if you don't have notifications on, for us going live, maybe you should put notifications on. That'd be great. So put some notifications on. Then that way you just won't miss us at all. We'd appreciate it. But don't be surprised when we're on in the afternoon, because it's our regular fucking thing that we do every single week. Okay, so join us there.
No, I'm always I'm always surprised that we're on a Friday afternoon, Matt. I come in and go, "Where's Nemo? What are you doing on during the daytime?"
You're like, "Oh wait, I'm supposed to be here. Hold on."
Oh, hang on. This is scheduled, and we've been doing it for I don't know how long. How long have we been doing it for? We've got to be not far off a year, I would think.
It's like 8 or 9 months at
Hang
least.
on, how old's our street pet? Have a look and see how old our street pet is. I think it's
God.
like
It's 270 days old. 277 days old.
Are we going to have a party for the street pet's birthday?
I don't know. Maybe we should.
We still haven't named it. I do think we should name it Victorian Child until it's 5 years old, and then we can give it an actual name.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to. You don't want to. I mean, can't give it a name until it's reached, certain, because fuck, Yeah.
What happens? What happens if it gets typhus?
Exactly. What happens if it gets and then you don't want to pay to put a name on a grave. That was dark.
No.
Sorry, never mind. Anyways, that was dark.
Yeah, if people don't know what that's about, just look it up.
Never mind. Anyways, all right, guys. Let's go see Joey. I'm gonna drop his right down here in the comments. That's gonna be Joey. Does it with the underscore. Give him the old raid. We're much appreciated. Much love to our friend Erika, who we'll get to hang out with all afternoon. So please make sure that you're following both of us. Erika's private, by the way. It'll look like you didn't follow her, but she'll get a chance to accept you after the fact. All right. I really appreciate you guys being here. Like I said, thank you for being here earlier with Polly. Thank you for hanging out all the way through. You guys are awesome. Thanks for all the love. Okay.